Opening 3,700-year-old coffin, archaeologists, shocked by huge treasure of ancient power couple. On the journey to uncover the mysteries of ancient civilizations, there are moments that leave the entire archaeological world holding its breath. And Grave 38, a tomb buried deep beneath the ground in La Almoloya, Spain, is one such discovery. As the lid of the coffin was gently opened, the experts could hardly believe their eyes. They were met with the sight of two skeletons lying side by side, surrounded by shimmering treasures, as if time itself had conspired to hide a glorious chapter of human history. Have you ever wondered what allows an ancient tomb, nearly 4,000 years old, to be so remarkably well preserved? And why, among countless archaeological sites, is this particular grave so extraordinary that it left an entire team from the Autonomous University of Barcelona in awe? The two skeletons, one male, one female, were found in a resting position, yet the arrangement around them tells a story more vivid than any history book. Around 30 artifacts were discovered, most of them finely crafted silver jewelry, one of the most precious materials of that era. Among these, one item stood out: a crown-like adornment placed ceremoniously on the woman's head. That detail alone sparked a groundbreaking hypothesis. Could this woman have been more than just nobility, possibly the highest-ranking figure in ancient El Argar society? What if this woman was truly a queen, a powerful testament to female authority from over 3 millennia ago? While the man may have been a warrior or perhaps a companion, all eyes seem to focus on the central female figure of the tomb. The exquisite jewelry surrounding her reveals a special status in society, a rarity among archaeological finds from that period. This was not merely an excavation, it was a quest for identity. Scientists are continuing in-depth analyses, from skeletal studies and DNA testing to metal composition research, to uncover the truth. Could this mysterious woman have been a ruler, or even a political symbol of power within the El Argar Empire? You're witnessing a thrilling moment in archaeology, where every artifact is a puzzle piece unlocking untold stories. Just imagine, thousands of years ago, during the height of the El Argar civilization, this woman lived, ruled, or at the very least, held immense power. It challenges everything we thought we knew about the role of women in human history. What do you think about this groundbreaking discovery? Could this be evidence that women held leadership roles even in ancient times? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation, because the journey of discovery is far from over, and you too are a part of this search for truth. And of course, this isn't the only fascinating discovery in today's video. Over the years, archaeologists have uncovered many other remarkable findings. So what are they? Let's continue and explore them together now. 4,000 human skeletons, recently discovered in Berlin. Right beneath the cold wheels that roll across a modern parking lot in the heart of Berlin, Germany, an entirely different world once existed. A world steeped in the darkness of war, disease, and ancient burial rituals. In 2024, archaeologists carried out a shocking excavation, uncovering 3,700 human remains buried deep underground. Surprisingly, nearly half of them date from 1047 to 1299, placing them firmly in the Middle Ages. The archaeological community was left stunned by the sheer scale and exceptional preservation of these skeletons. These weren't just anonymous remains. Each skeleton tells a story, a bloody and tragic fragment of a city that was once part of the Holy Roman Empire, a city plagued by famine, epidemics, violent attacks, and centuries of social unrest. The fragile bones of children revealed signs of rickets, scabies, tetanus, and even tuberculosis, all direct consequences of vitamin deficiencies, poor hygiene, and virtually non-existent medical care. In a time when clean water and nutritious food were luxuries, surviving into adulthood was nothing short of a miracle. Meanwhile, the remains of adult males revealed a chilling truth. Many had clearly died from axe blows to the head, evidence of armed conflicts, local uprisings, or possibly executions. Some skeletons showed fractures in the wrists and legs, suggesting they tried to fight back or were knocked down during attacks. These were not peaceful deaths, but violent ends in a life surrounded by brutality. Even more noteworthy, among this sea of nameless individuals, archaeologists found hints of social hierarchy and ancient funeral practices. One skeleton had a silver coin placed in its mouth, a ritual believed to allow the deceased to pay the ferryman to cross into the afterlife. This suggests that the individual may have held a significant position. possibly wealthy or religious. Additionally, the discovery of items such as silver hairpins, keys, and metal locks further supports the theory that this was no ordinary burial ground. It may have once been a collective cemetery for a community that included people from all walks of life, from commoners to those of high status within the feudal society. This discovery raises deeper questions about life in medieval Berlin. Why were so many people buried here? Was this once the cemetery of an ancient church or monastery that has since vanished from historical records? At that time, Berlin was not the sprawling metropolis we know today. It was a sparsely populated region, deeply affected by invasions and feudal conflicts, where life and death could trade places in an instant. Based on the remaining evidence, historians believe this area may have once served as a cemetery linked to a medieval hospital or a Cistercian monastery, a religious order that held significant influence across Europe during the 12th and 13th centuries. The discovery of nearly 4,000 skeletons is more than just an archaeological milestone. It's a sobering reminder of humanity's fragility in the face of time, disease, and violence. Today, we drive over the very grounds where these tragic stories unfolded, unaware that beneath our feet lies a hidden cemetery filled with secrets that have never been told. And perhaps the most thought-provoking realization is this: while modern life offers us comfort, advanced medicine, and abundant food, just a few centuries ago, people struggled to survive each winter, every outbreak, and every bloody conflict. The excavation in Berlin is not just a look into the past, it's a doorway into the soul of a city that once bore immense suffering, a powerful testament that even as time washes away all else, bones and memories remain, waiting to be heard. The mystery of Colombia's natural mummies. When the coffin opens, life feels intact. Imagine being a grave digger in a quiet, peaceful little town nestled in the mountains of Colombia. It's just another ordinary day. You open the lid of an old coffin, preparing to relocate the remains as part of a local burial tradition. But instead of crumbling bones weathered by time, you're faced with an astonishing sight, a body that appears almost untouched. Hair still intact, teeth in place, skin dried but still preserving the contours of the face. Would you believe your eyes? What sounds like a scene from a science fiction film is, in fact, a real event that happened in San Bernardo, a small town in Colombia. About 60 years ago, this place caught the attention of archaeologists and scientists worldwide after the discovery of a series of natural mummies. Bodies that had undergone no artificial embalming, yet remained remarkably preserved for decades. And the mystery doesn't stop there. These mummies weren't stored under special conditions. No chemicals, no ancient embalming techniques like those used in Egypt. So why didn't their bodies decompose like others? When experts came to investigate, they were stunned. They found not just one, but several bodies with hair, teeth, fingernails, toenails, and even facial expressions still clearly visible. Some of the bodies had dried out like leather mannequins, yet their forms remained largely unchanged. The existence of these mummies has sparked a range of scientific hypotheses, ranging from environmental factors to the local population's lifestyle. Can you guess what's believed to be the reason behind this mysterious preservation? It's not technology or magic, but rather two native fruits commonly found in the local diet: guadala, also known as chayote, and balu. Locals believe that the combination of the region's dry climate, pure mountain spring water, and a diet that's entirely natural, free from chemicals and pesticides, has naturally preserved the bodies of the deceased without any human intervention. Still, scientists have yet to offer a definitive explanation. No scientific evidence so far has been strong enough to pinpoint one factor as the main cause. Perhaps it's the simple, nature-aligned way of life led by the residents of San Bernardo decades ago that gave rise to this mysterious phenomenon, one that continues to puzzle experts to this day. Today, this tiny town is more than just a final resting place. It's become a curious tourist destination. Visitors can see 8 naturally mummified bodies preserved in special glass cases. From once silent coffins, now comes the awakening of curiosity and awe in thousands of visitors each year. And perhaps the most surprising part? Thanks to these eternal residents, the town's economy has been revived in a way no one ever expected. So, what do you think is truly behind the phenomenon of these natural mummies? A yet undiscovered biological secret, or a random gift from Mother Nature? Do you place your trust in science or in the power of traditional living? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts, because who knows, you might help unravel a mystery that has baffled scientists for over half a century. 3,000-year-old skeleton, found kneeling with hands bound. In the world of archaeology, there are discoveries that do more than shed light on ancient civilizations. They unlock doors to chilling mysteries buried for millennia. And in Henan Province, China, a recent excavation has left experts stunned. The remains of a headless human skeleton found in a kneeling position, hands bound, frozen in what appears to be the final moment before a ritual execution. The image is haunting, and it raises disturbing questions. Who was this person? Why were they executed in such a ceremonial manner? And is this a rare exception, or just the tip of a far darker historical iceberg? We are taken back roughly 3,000 years, to the era of the Shang dynasty, a civilization renowned not only for its advanced bronze casting techniques, but also for its bloody ritual sacrifices. According to inscriptions carved on animal bones and turtle shells, large-scale human sacrifices were a central part of both the spiritual and political life in the Shang capital of Yin, modern-day Anyang. It was believed that offering human lives to the gods would ensure bountiful harvests, national prosperity, and the strength of the ruling court. And now, vivid physical evidence of such a ritual has emerged, buried deep in the once quiet earth of Henan. This kneeling, headless, bound skeleton, isolated from other remains typically found lying flat, has opened a new dimension of research into the sacrificial rites of ancient China. Could the kneeling position have been a symbolic posture of submission, performed just moments before execution to amplify the ritual's spiritual meaning? Or perhaps it was a standardized sacrificial stance meant to display devotion or surrender to the divine? Prior to this astonishing discovery, Chinese scholars had already recorded more than 13,000 people sacrificed over the course of the Shang dynasty's 200-year reign, a number that chills the spine. Most victims were prisoners of war, slaves, or individuals deemed chosen as offerings to the gods. However, the discovery of this skeleton in such a unique position suggests that sacrificial practices may have been far more elaborate and more brutal than previously understood. How do you feel knowing that 3 millennia ago, humans believed that blood and flesh could bridge the gap between mortals and gods? That death, in the context of ritual, was not merely an end, but a sacred act? This discovery is pushing scientists to delve deeper into the ceremonial roles, social hierarchy, and execution methods used in ancient sacrificial practices. It also raises a powerful question about the fine line between faith and cruelty throughout human history. Do you think this headless skeleton belonged to a captured warrior, a criminal, or someone who was, in a tragic twist of belief, honored as a divine offering? And ultimately, can we truly grasp the mindset and faith of our ancestors when confronted with archaeological evidence as haunting as this? Cremated remains reveal shocking secrets of the Aztec Empire. Buried deep beneath the historic soil of Plaza Garibaldi, now a bustling hotspot filled with tourists and the sounds of mariachi music, a horrifying secret from the past has been unexpectedly unearthed. During an excavation led by archaeologists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, INAH, a ceramic urn was discovered, containing human ashes. At first glance, it might seem like a simple archaeological find, but behind this urn lies a chilling tale of ritual sacrifice once practiced by the mighty Aztec Empire. Have you ever wondered what drove the Aztecs, a brilliant civilization known for its advanced knowledge in astronomy, mathematics, and architecture, to engage in such bloody rituals? Let's follow the trail of this archaeological discovery to understand why a single urn of ashes could forever change our perception of Aztec spirituality. But the urn wasn't the only thing uncovered. Surrounding an ancient altar, researchers also found 13 ceremonial incense burners, carefully arranged along 2 main axes, east-west and north-south. Sound familiar? This alignment mirrors the Tonalpohualli calendar, a 260-day sacred calendar the Aztecs used to determine auspicious days for important rituals. And why the number 13? In Aztec cosmology, the heavens were believed to be divided into 13 layers, each ruled by different deities. Could it be that this spatial arrangement wasn't just decorative but symbolic? A ritualistic way of opening a gateway to guide the victim's soul to the gods? The urn containing cremated remains serves as stark evidence that human sacrifices once took place at this very site, one of the most controversial and haunting practices of the Aztec people. According to historical records and confirmation from archaeologist Mara Becerra, victims were ritually killed, their bodies burned, and their ashes placed inside urns, as offerings complete and final to the gods. So this raises a powerful question. Who were chosen for sacrifice? Were they prisoners of war, commoners honored with the role of offering, or merely the unfortunate ones selected by fate? And what could have compelled such an advanced civilization to believe that the prosperity of their entire society depended on the death of a single individual? Can you imagine the chilling scene? Flames rising in the middle of the plaza, the air thick with incense and prayer, the sacrifice carried out under sacred chants? A ceremony at once mystical and gruesome, reflecting a belief in supernatural forces so intense it demanded blood. And here's the truth. This is more than just an archaeological discovery. It's a doorway into the soul of the Aztec people, a civilization where life and death were deeply intertwined, where sacrifice was seen not as cruelty, but as the purest path to the divine. A 200-year-old body still intact as if newly deceased. Amid the fast-paced modern life of New York City, a place where it seems every story has been told and every mystery uncovered, an astonishing discovery in Queens in 2018 shocked the community and left scientists puzzled. During the construction of a development project, workers unexpectedly struck something unusual underground. When they dug further, they unearthed a heavy iron coffin. Inside was the nearly perfectly preserved body of a young woman. At first glance, the body appeared so well preserved that it looked as though she had passed away only days earlier. Local authorities were immediately called in, suspecting a possible recent homicide, but those theories were quickly dismissed after forensic examination results were released. And from there, an extraordinary story unfolded, taking us back nearly 2 centuries. The woman inside the coffin was identified as an African American who had died approximately 170 years ago, at an estimated age between 25 and 30. She stood about 5 feet 3 inches tall and had clearly been cared for with great respect. She wore a 19th century silk nightgown, a hand-knitted wool cap, knee-high stockings, her hair was neatly combed, and her body had been thoroughly cleaned. These details suggested she was not only laid to rest with dignity, but may have held a notable social position, or at the very least, had been deeply loved by her family. What truly astonished researchers, however, was the condition of her remains, particularly the skin, which retained both its texture and pigmentation. Medical examiners were even able to clearly observe the distinctive scarring caused by smallpox on her forehead and chest, which is believed to have been the cause of her death. Strangely, her body had not been treated with any kind of embalming chemicals, a modern preservation method, and yet, it had remained intact for nearly 2 centuries. So how was such miraculous preservation possible? The answer may lie in the very object that held her, the iron coffin. Though seemingly ordinary, it was likely the key factor. Experts believe the coffin was completely sealed, preventing air, moisture, or bacteria from entering, creating the ideal conditions for natural preservation. These types of coffins were manufactured in the mid-19th century by specialized companies and were often used by the upper class, especially during times when deadly diseases like smallpox were rampant. Airtight coffins were believed to prevent the spread of illness from the deceased. The story of this young woman's body is more than a shocking archaeological find. It opens the door to many unanswered questions. Who was she? Why was she buried at what is now a busy construction site in the heart of New York? What kind of life did her family live during such a turbulent time in American history? And how many more secrets might still lie quietly beneath the streets of the city? These questions continue to fascinate archaeologists and residents alike. And what about you? How does it feel to know that right beneath your feet, in one of the most modern cities in the world, remnants of the past still rest silently, waiting for their stories to be told? A body that didn't decompose for 400 years in Italy. In the quiet, picturesque town of Venzone, located in the province of Udine, Italy, lies a mystery that has puzzled archaeologists and scientists for centuries. The story began with a seemingly random event in 1647, when the body of a man was unearthed from a grave in the courtyard of St. Andrew's Church. What shocked everyone was that, despite being buried for many years, the corpse showed almost no signs of decomposition. No embalming techniques, no preservatives. And yet, the body had retained its shape. The skin had turned a yellowish brown and dried like leather, while many internal organs remained nearly intact. This discovery quickly captured public attention and launched a centuries-long journey to uncover the truth. But the mystery didn't stop there. Following the first body, a series of other graves were excavated within St. Andrew's Church, and what experts found was even more astonishing. A total of 42 bodies were discovered in a remarkably preserved state, all without the use of any embalming methods. No chemicals, no modern medical intervention. These human remains appeared to have been naturally mummified by the environment itself. Have you ever wondered what might be happening beneath layers of seemingly lifeless earth? In 1976, a powerful earthquake destroyed much of the church's structure, damaging many of the preserved bodies. However, 15 corpses remained intact and are still kept to this day. Strangely, all of these bodies weigh between 22 and 44 pounds, an unusually low weight for adult human remains. And if you're thinking these are just dry skeletons, think again. Scientists found that the skin of these bodies remains tough, elastic, and even retains a leathery color and texture, similar to well-treated hide. This could be one of the rarest known examples of completely natural human preservation, a phenomenon that still defies full scientific explanation. Several theories have been proposed to solve the mystery. Some researchers believe that a rare fungus known as Hypha tombicitia, a type of parasitic mold, may have played a key role in drying the bodies and preventing decomposition. Others suggest that the limestone-rich soil surrounding St. Andrew's Church created a unique microenvironment that inhibited the growth of bacteria and decomposing microorganisms. So, what is the truth? Scientists have conducted microbial tests, analyzed the surrounding soil and geological conditions, yet no definitive answer has been found. Could this be a rare natural occurrence, or the result of a burial technique known to the ancients but lost to time? The question remains open. Looking at these preserved bodies, we don't just see perfectly kept remains from the past. We feel a strange and powerful connection between humanity and Mother Earth, where life, death, and mystery seem to intertwine in a sacred balance. What do you think about this strange phenomenon? Could there be ancient secrets still eluding modern science? And how many more stories lie sleeping beneath the soil of Europe, waiting to be told? Feel free to share your thoughts, because it's the unanswered questions that keep driving us forward in the human quest to uncover the past. 2 incorruptible bodies that have baffled scientists for centuries. Throughout the course of human history, people have time and again been astonished by the phenomenon of bodies that remain undecomposed for decades, even centuries after death. Behind these occurrences lies a journey of discovery, filled with questions about life, death, and mysteries far beyond the current limits of modern science. Let us now open a window through time and explore 2 of the most extraordinary and sacred stories ever recorded. The incorrupt body of Pope Pius V, preserved for over a century, and the intact remains of venerable Buddhist monk Min Ha-duc, unearthed nearly 30 years after burial. Though these 2 individuals came from different faiths, both seem to have reached the miraculous threshold of bodily preservation after death. We begin in the heart of Christianity, the Vatican, where the body of Pope Pius V remains completely intact, showing no signs of decay, even though he passed away in 1572. Canonized on May 22, 1712, his incorrupt body has not only stunned the faithful, but has also puzzled the scientific community. His body was never embalmed, nor was it preserved with any chemicals, yet it appears as though he has been peacefully sleeping for more than 4 centuries. Is this a miracle? Or perhaps a divine sign granted by God to someone truly worthy? Pope Pius V, the 225th Pope, was a man of compassion and virtue. During his papacy from 1566 to 1572, he was known not only for his profound intellect, but also for his humility, his dedication to the poor and the sick, and his efforts toward global peace. Many believers see the preservation of his body as a mark of sainthood, a visible connection between heaven and earth. Today, his body lies in a silver and glass coffin at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome, where thousands of pilgrims visit each year to offer their respects and admiration. But just when one might think such a phenomenon is unique, another equally astonishing case arises. In the peaceful countryside of Quang Ngai, Vietnam. Here, the remains of monk Minh Ha Duc were found perfectly intact after being buried underground for 27 years, despite the region's high humidity and frequent annual flooding. Even more remarkable is that, while his wooden coffin had long since decayed, his monk's robe and garments remained untouched. His bones were still firmly connected, hardened like stone, and his entire body emitted a strange golden hue. How could this be explained? Venerable Minh Ha Duc, Dharma name Thic Minh Duc, was born in 1901 into a Confucian family. He lived a modest, disciplined life and was well versed in both Buddhist scriptures and traditional medicine. He was not only a devout monk, but also a healer, a revolutionary during the resistance movement, and a revered teacher to generations of monks and Buddhists. Prior to his death in 1985, he seemed to have foreseen his passing. He calmly prepared his disciples and passed away peacefully during a tranquil night. Yet nearly 30 years later, when his monastery exhumed his body for reburial, they found it unchanged, a sight that left local residents, monks, and researchers speechless. What's fascinating is that, unlike Pope Pius V, monk Minh Ha Duc's body underwent no embalming, nor was it preserved by any known method. So what kept his body so perfectly intact? Could it be the result of a lifetime of spiritual discipline, of thousands of recitations, tens of thousands of prayers, and complete purification of body, mind, and spirit? The phenomenon of incorruptible bodies is not just a matter of religious or mystical documentation. It reflects a profound aspect of humanity's spiritual culture, the belief that ultimate purity of the soul might allow the body to transcend natural laws. Some see it as proof of enlightenment, others call it a miracle. Still, some believe it may stem from environmental conditions or factors science has yet to understand. But regardless of the cause, the experience of witnessing these incorruptible bodies always leaves a deep impression. It compels us to pause and reflect on life, death, and the mysteries that lie far beyond the boundaries of human knowledge. So what do you think? Is this a rare biological phenomenon, the result of a life of strict spiritual practice, or evidence of a sacred intervention? And will science one day possess the tools to unlock these secrets? The bleached skeletons, grinning in the desert. Have you ever heard of an ancient cemetery located in the heart of a barren desert, where skeletons over 1,000 years old still retain their mysterious features, some even appearing to smile at visitors who come to admire them? This is Chowchilla Cemetery, situated southeast of Nazca, Peru. A must-see destination for archaeology enthusiasts and those fascinated by history's hidden stories. Chowchilla is not just an ordinary burial ground. It stands as a vivid testament to the legendary Nazca civilization that flourished from the 1st to the 9th century AD. Here, hundreds of bleached skeletons are placed in special pits in a seated, leaning-back position, creating a striking picture of the unique burial customs of the ancient Nazca people. What's astonishing is that despite the harsh, dry, and hot desert climate, these skeletons remain remarkably well preserved. Some even retain soft hair, something archaeologists have yet to explain satisfactorily. Did you know that archaeologists discovered this cemetery in the 1920s, opening a gateway to uncovering a civilization once forgotten and mysteriously vanished? Though the Nazca civilization disappeared without a trace, the artifacts and skeletons at Chowchilla quietly tell their powerful story. Experts infer that these specially preserved skeletons likely belonged to tribal chiefs or high-ranking individuals, as many were buried alongside valuable jewelry and artifacts made of gold, silver, and precious stones, evidence of their wealth and authority in their time. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect is the faces of these skeletons, with their jaws wide open as if grinning, a haunting yet captivating image. Researchers believe that ancient people deliberately intervened during burial to create this effect, causing the skeletons to appear as though they are eternally smiling, as a cryptic message to future generations. Can you imagine? Under the blazing desert sun, those pure white skeletons still stand, immortal witnesses of history, inviting explorers and curious minds to delve deeper and reflect on a once glorious civilization. Every step you take into Chowchilla Cemetery is a step through time, where past and present converge, leaving you awestruck and intrigued by secrets yet to be revealed. Dozens of screaming Russian soldiers' skeletons unearthed. Recently in eastern Poland, archaeologists and historians were shaken by a chilling discovery. Dozens of skeletons of Russian soldiers buried more than 150 years ago were unearthed. Their haunting, screaming expressions seemingly frozen in time, as if they were still trapped in the horrors of war. This discovery took place at a mass grave near the S17 highway between Lublin and Warsaw, specifically in Zerdz, a land that witnessed a brutal and merciless battle during the Polish uprising of 1863. Historical records show that in the Battle of Zerzin, nearly 200 Russian soldiers were defeated and killed by Polish forces. Another approximately 282 soldiers were captured. What makes this even more remarkable is that these Russian troops were transporting a valuable cargo at the time, worth 200,000 rubles, equivalent to roughly $3,000 USD today. However, their dream of spoils turned into tragedy when they were ambushed and brutally slaughtered. When archaeologists arrived at the site, they didn't just find skeletons, they uncovered grim evidence of the violent deaths suffered during war. Around 80 skeletons were buried together in a mass grave. The most terrifying aspect was the posture of many of these bodies, frozen with mouths open in silent screams, as if desperately trying to convey the pain and despair of their final moments. These images not only serve as vivid proof of the cruelty of war, but also haunt us with the heavy cost it exacts on human lives. The discovery holds not only archaeological value, but also deep historical significance. It helps us better understand the long-lasting conflicts in Eastern Europe and reminds us of the tragic fates of soldiers, victims of war and silent witnesses to history. Each skeleton tells an untold story, a painful echo from the past, reminding us that peace is precious and must be protected. This discovery also revives the memory of the Battle of Zerzin, one of the significant clashes in the Polish uprising, where local forces bravely stood against the powerful Russian army, though the outcome was marked by bloodshed and tears. Through these screaming skeletons, history ceases to be dry numbers and events. It becomes more vivid than ever, letting us feel the brutality, loss, and courage of those who fell. The excavation in Zerdz stands as a testament to archaeology's power to open doors to the past, ensuring we never forget the lessons and truths of history. Though time may blur much, memories and historical traces persist, waiting to be discovered and honored. Two skulls, severed in an ancient 1,000-year-old tomb. When archaeologists excavated an ancient tomb deep in the majestic Altai Mountains, they uncovered a chilling and curious sight, the skeletons of a mother and child buried around 2,500 years ago. But their skulls were not in the proper place. Instead, the heads had been severed and carefully placed at the feet or knees of the bodies. Even more striking, both skeletons were dressed in luxurious fur garments intricately gilded with gold leaf, silently affirming their high status and the meticulous preparation for the journey to the afterlife. Especially in the harsh Siberian climate, detailed studies revealed that the two individuals were a teenager and her mother, belonging to the ancient Pazyryk culture, known for its unique burial customs and exquisite carving arts. Besides the skeletons, the tomb contained two small bronze mirrors and several ancient ceramic items, typical burial goods used to serve the deceased on their passage to the other world. However, one great mystery remains. Why were the heads of the mother and child severed and placed in such unusual positions? Dr. Nikita Konstantinov, head of the archaeological team from Gorno-Altaysk University, explained that the custom of burying bodies without their heads was fairly common in ancient times, especially in the context of warfare. Often, the heads were taken as trophies or symbols of power by the victors. So many graves lacked the skulls. But the strange thing here is that these skeletons belong to a teenager and an adult, unlike enemy warriors, and this phenomenon of headless children has never before been documented archaeologically. Several theories have been proposed, including a rather dramatic one, suggesting that the tomb may have been disturbed by grave robbers in antiquity who severed the heads to avoid curses or bad luck. Yet, the intact skeletons and lack of disturbance evidence make this theory less convincing. Moreover, the presence of intact gold leaf and gilded clothing indicates special respect and careful preservation of the mother and child. A 500-year sealed cave containing world-shaking artifacts. In 2023, Russian cave explorer Yekaterina Katia Pavlova, together with local guide Adrian Beltran Dimas, discovered and mapped the Tlayocac cave area in Mexico, an area that had remained untouched deep inside for centuries. It was here, during a brief rest, that they unexpectedly uncovered a treasure trove of 14 ancient artifacts, at least 500 years old, opening a magical door to a mysterious civilization known as the Tlacotepehuah. The artifacts found included meaningful and valuable items: 3 bracelets possibly made from shimmering mother-of-pearl shells, a bracelet fragment crafted from mollusk shells, a perforated seashell, and several finely detailed ornaments. In addition, charred wood fragments and intact stone discs along with some broken pieces were discovered. Through meticulous analysis by experts, the artifact collection was dated between approximately 950 and 1521 AD, coinciding with the period when the Tlacotepehuah people inhabited this region. Interestingly, caves in many pre-Columbian cultures were considered gateways to the underworld, a realm where gods reside and divine power manifests. Because of this, archaeologists believe the Tlacotepehuah used the Tlayocac cave as a sacred site for important rituals to seek protection and blessings from the gods. The cave's pristine condition for over 5 centuries, serving as a time capsule, allows us to sense the solemnity and reverence this community held for the spiritual world and nature. This discovery is not only a major breakthrough in archaeology, but also a new hope for scientists to better understand the Tlacotepehuah civilization, a culture barely known in history. These precious artifacts provide clues about craftsmanship, religious beliefs, and also reveal the lifestyle, cultural exchanges, and deep connection the Tlacotepehuah had with the natural environment around them. The first steps into the Tlayocac cave felt like a journey through time, opening a mysterious and fascinating new chapter in Mexican archaeology. This discovery is more than just finding artifacts. It's an encounter with a legendary past, where every bracelet and stone piece carries the stories of people who once lived, worshipped, and hoped in a world long gone. This event makes us wonder, how many more secrets still lie hidden beneath Mexico's soil, where history and legend intertwine? Tlayocac Cave is not just an archaeological stop, but an invitation for researchers to delve deeper to uncover what remains hidden in the shadows of time. With each artifact found, we take another step closer to vividly reconstructing the story of the Tlacotepehuah, a civilization that once existed, believed in the power of nature and gods, and left an enduring mark beneath Mexico's earth for generations to remember forever. Hundreds of 3,400-year-old artifacts found on a volcano summit. On the summit of Somló volcano hill in Hungary, an unexpected archaeological discovery has revealed the mysterious life of ancient inhabitants dating back more than 3,400 years. Archaeologists used advanced laser technology and metal detectors to uncover at least 6 hidden metal treasure caches around this ancient settlement, which once served as a center of activity and power from the early 15th century BCE. After more than a year of research, over 300 artifacts were excavated, mostly dating from the Late Bronze Age, 1450 to 800 BCE, and the Early Iron Age, 800 to 450 BCE. These include finely crafted jewelry, weapons, and military equipment bearing clear marks of a warrior society. The oldest artifacts date back to roughly 1400 to 1300 BCE, but the majority of the items belong to the period between 1080 and 900 BCE. A time of flourishing Bronze Age culture that reflects the advanced metallurgy and intricate metalworking skills of the inhabitants. The findings go beyond metal objects. Researchers also discovered valuable materials such as amber beads, fragments of cloth, animal hides, and tusks from wild and domestic pigs. These items paint a comprehensive picture of daily life, economic activities, and cultural practices of the community living there. Somló is more than just a volcanic hill. It is an important archaeological site considered a power center for an elite warrior group. Large burial goods found in early Iron Age burial mounds suggest this area was once inhabited and controlled by a tribal leadership or powerful clan overseeing a vast surrounding territory. The weapons and jewelry artifacts are not only materially valuable, but also symbolize power, social status, and cultural development spanning centuries. Notably, the discoveries at Somló provide valuable insights into the critical transition between the Late Bronze Age and the Early Iron Age in the region now known as Hungary. This was a turbulent era when new metallurgical techniques emerged, transforming social organization, weapon production, and territorial management. The inhabitants of Somlo may have belonged to a tribe or clan led by skilled warriors, paving the way for new power structures in the area's history. However, the exact identity and detailed lifestyle of this ancient group remain a significant mystery. To clarify their origins, social relationships, and historical roles, archaeologists plan to conduct further in-depth studies in the near future. The 16 latest mysterious and strange discoveries, recently challenging all scientists. The 500-million-year-old iron hammer. In June 1936, an ordinary couple, Max Hahn and his wife Emma, went on a simple picnic near a waterfall area in the old town of London, Texas. Little did they know that they would become the center of one of the most mysterious and controversial discoveries in modern archaeology. While climbing along a cliff, they stumbled upon a strangely shaped rock. A piece of wood seemed to be embedded inside the hard stone. Driven by curiosity, they decided to take the rock home. And that seemingly spontaneous decision would open a story that stunned the entire scientific community. When carefully chipping away at the rock, they uncovered an unbelievable object, an iron hammer with a wooden handle, perfectly encased inside the stone. Yes, you heard that right, a man-made hammer completely embedded in solid rock. The immediate question arose, how could a human-made tool exist inside a rock layer dated to be approximately 400 million years old? The mystery deepened when carbon dating and material analyses revealed that the hammer, especially its iron head, could be over 500 million years old, dating back to an era when even multicellular life was just beginning to emerge on Earth. Not only that, but the wooden handle had already started the fossilization process, clear evidence of the object's unusually ancient age. What puzzled scientists even more was the hammerhead's composition. 96% pure iron, a refinement level far beyond modern technology, and yet it showed no signs of rust after hundreds of millions of years. So, who made this hammer? Could this be proof that a human civilization existed and thrived hundreds of millions of years ago, only to vanish without a trace? Or could it be evidence of an extraterrestrial civilization that once visited our planet in the distant past? Hypotheses ranging from evolutionary theories to time travel and even alien intervention have been proposed to explain this phenomenon that defies current scientific understanding. But as you know, none of these have yet provided a definitive answer. The amazingly well-preserved 2,000-year-old bog mummy. Imagine taking a walk through a quiet bog in the Danish countryside. The air is crisp, the ground damp, and the mud thick beneath your feet. Suddenly, a discovery that would shake history is revealed before your eyes. A human body lying motionless, seemingly just recently deceased. But no, this is not a victim of a modern crime. It's a corpse that has existed for more than 2,000 years. This is the strange and haunting story of the Tollund Man, the most famous bog mummy ever found. In 1950, while harvesting peat in a Danish bog, a group of workers unexpectedly uncovered the body of a man curled up with a noose wrapped tightly around his neck. The expression on his face was eerie. No pain, no fear, just as if he were peacefully sleeping. The chilling sight sent shivers down everyone's spine. The police were immediately called to the scene, suspecting foul play. But the truth was far stranger. Archaeologists quickly got involved, and after extensive analysis, they reached an astonishing conclusion. This body didn't belong to modern times, but to a man who lived in the 4th century BCE, more than 2,300 years ago. They named him Tollund Man, after the site where he was discovered. What shocked the world was not just the mummy's age, but the unbelievably perfect state of preservation. His hair was still intact on his head, his beard full, and his skin remarkably preserved, despite more than 2 millennia passing. So how did this body withstand the test of time? The answer lies in the bog environment itself. The acidic peat combined with a lack of oxygen prevented bacteria from decomposing the soft tissue, preserving the body down to the smallest detail. But the mystery didn't end there. The death of Tollund Man raises countless unanswered questions. Why was he hanged? Why was he found in a curled position? And what explains the strangely serene expression on his face, as if he accepted his death peacefully? Researchers believe he may have been sacrificed in a religious ritual, a practice that existed in Iron Age Europe. But that remains only a theory. Tollund Man's true identity, who he was, where he came from, and why he was chosen as an offering, remains a mystery to this day. More than just a mummy, Tallinn Man is a window into the past, where ancient people practiced rituals that today we can only imagine. His peaceful expression as he left this world is like a whisper from history, reminding us there are still countless things about the past we don't fully understand. Was Tallinn Man an ordinary person sacrificed? Or was he someone important sent off to the afterlife through a sacred ceremony? That's a question humanity continues to search for answers to. The strange object on Saturn. If you think Earth is the only planet with fierce and mysterious storms, get ready to be amazed by what's happening on Saturn, the sixth planet in our solar system. Recently, NASA's Cassini spacecraft sent back the clearest images ever captured, revealing an astronomical phenomenon that has puzzled scientists for decades. A massive storm shaped like a hexagon, located right at Saturn's North Pole. This isn't just an unusual natural occurrence, it's one of the greatest cosmic scientific mysteries today. The giant hexagon isn't a new discovery. In fact, Cassini first recorded it years ago, but only recently, with advanced technology and higher resolution, has NASA been able to capture short, colorful videos showing detailed, intense movement inside this strange atmospheric structure. Simulations show that the storm's wind speeds reach up to 200 miles per hour, far exceeding the strongest storms on Earth, even about 50 miles per hour faster than a Category 5 hurricane. What astonishes scientists the most is the storm's perfectly hexagonal shape. In nature, a clearly defined and stable hexagon is incredibly rare, especially in the chaotic atmosphere of a gas giant like Saturn. Yet here, the hexagon not only exists, but has maintained a stable structure for decades, possibly even a century, according to Andrew Ingersoll, a member of the Cassini research team at Caltech. He explained, "A storm on Earth usually lasts about a week, but storms on Saturn can last for decades or longer." Launched in 1997, Cassini entered Saturn's orbit in 2004 and has since continuously sent valuable data back to Earth. To capture images of the hexagonal storm, Cassini spent 10 hours flying in continuous observation, recording every moment of the planet's atmospheric motion. The images were then processed using color mapping techniques, helping scientists distinguish different parts of the storm's structure. To the naked eye, the images may appear bronze and green, but NASA is still conducting deeper analysis since the difference between spectral imaging and true color remains a scientific question requiring more time. So the question remains, what creates this perfect hexagon in such a turbulent environment like Saturn's? Is it an extremely rare physical phenomenon, or are there mysterious forces at work that we have yet to understand? For now, the answer is still unclear. But one thing is certain. Saturn is not only stunningly beautiful with its famous rings, but also hides mysteries beyond human imagination. The Giant Sword. Can you believe there's a sword nearly 13 feet long, weighing up to 33 pounds, forged in the 15th century, that has made many wonder, was this the weapon of a giant? This is not a product of imagination, but a real historical artifact from Japan called the Norimitsu Odachi, known as the Steel Monster among the legendary swords. When you look at this colossal sword, you're immediately drawn into unanswered questions. Who wielded it? Why forge such a massive weapon? Typically, Odachi, or great longswords in ancient Japanese culture, measured about 3 feet long, already challenging for warriors of the time, considering the generally modest stature of ancient Japanese people. But Norimitsu Odachi is an extraordinary exception, almost beyond the realm of reality. At nearly 13 feet long, this blade couldn't be used in a conventional way. Even drawing the sword from its scabbard posed a challenge. So many speculate that this sword was not made for battle, or if it was, its owner must have been a person of extraordinary size. This isn't just baseless speculation. Some ancient Japanese texts recorded stories of giant warriors, men of towering height and incredible strength, who wielded swords far larger than typical weapons. If there really was a warrior over 6.5 feet tall, with immense muscle and superhuman power, it's entirely possible he could have wielded the Norimitsu Odachi. No need to imagine too far. Just picture a giant warrior swinging a sword as long as a flagpole, enough to tear through enemy ranks, and you'll understand why this sword became a terrifying legend. However, not everyone believes Norimitsu Odachi was ever used in real combat. Some theories suggest this giant sword might have been created solely as a symbol of victory, meant to inspire troops before battle. Others think it was a prize-winning masterpiece in a swordsmith competition, showcasing the pinnacle of Japanese craftsmanship at the time. There's even an intriguing legend related to psychological warfare. A cunning strategist ordered the forging of this enormous sword and deliberately placed it where invading enemies could easily see it. When the invaders approached and spotted the weapon's monstrous size, they panicked, believing the land was guarded by giant warriors. This fear made them retreat without fighting, turning Norimitsu Odachi into a symbol of both intimidation and strategic genius. Whatever the true purpose of Norimitsu Odachi, it remains one of the greatest testaments to medieval Japanese metallurgy and the spirit of Bushido. Whether as a weapon, a symbol, or a tool of psychological warfare, Norimitsu Odachi has undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the history and legends of the Land of the Rising Sun. The hidden Mercury River beneath the pyramid. Imagine stepping into an ancient, mysterious city that was once the dazzling center of Mayan civilization, located just about 30 miles from Mexico City. This is Teotihuacan, a name given by the Aztecs meaning the place where the gods are born. In what was once the largest city of ancient America, archaeologists have uncovered one of the strangest and most eerie mysteries ever recorded. A river of liquid mercury hidden deep beneath the stone, right under the pyramid of the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl. The story began in 2003, after an unexpected heavy rainstorm swept across Teotihuacan. Archaeologist Sergio Gomez Chavez went to inspect the area and stumbled upon a small sinkhole right in front of the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Shining his flashlight down, all he saw was thick darkness, but his intuition told him he was facing something monumental. With a rope tied around his waist and the help of his team, Gomez was lowered into the pit, which led to a mysterious tunnel sealed off for nearly 1,800 years. Supported by Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, he began planning an excavation. After years of meticulous work, using ground-penetrating radar, 3D scanners, and remotely operated robotic vehicles, the team cleared over 2.2 million pounds of earth from a tunnel approximately 330 feet long. The findings included tens of thousands of ancient artifacts, jade figurines, crocodile teeth, jade masks, jaguar bones, but what shocked the world was the discovery of pools of liquid mercury in the tunnel's final chamber. Mercury, a highly toxic liquid metal, was not only dangerous but incredibly rare in ancient times. Experts believe the ancient Maya extracted mercury from cinnabar, a scarce and difficult-to-mine red ore. So why would they go to such lengths to bury this deadly substance underground? Some archaeologists think mercury symbolized a supernatural river leading to the afterlife, possibly marking the site of Teotihuacan's first royal tomb, the resting place of the most powerful kings yet to be found. Not only mercury, but the tunnel's ceiling was coated with traces of luminescent metal powder, reflecting like stars in the night sky. Researchers suggest the entire journey through the tunnel may have been designed as a ritual reenacting the soul's passage to the other world, where it must cross the sacred river to reach the gods. The dense concentration of artifacts in the last three chambers strengthens the theory that this place could have once been a noble or royal burial site. To this day, the Mercury River beneath the Pyramid of Quetzalcoatl remains an unsolved mystery, but one thing is certain: nowhere else in ancient Mesoamerica has such a large quantity of mercury been found, and its presence has sparked numerous hypotheses about beliefs, power, and funerary rituals in the Teotihuacan civilization. If we say this site is not just an archaeological relic, but a history book yet to be fully written, where every layer of earth uncovered reveals new stories about humanity, mythology, and secrets buried for millennia, it would hardly be an exaggeration. The 5,000-year-old stone tomb beneath the ground. The Soto Stone Tomb is an underground architectural site located in Trigueros, Andalusia, Spain. Also known as the Underground Stonehenge, this megalithic monument was constructed between 4,500 and 5,000 years ago and is one of about 200 ancient burial sites in the province of Huelva. The tomb consists of a circular mound with a long passageway leading to a chamber where 8 human skeletons were found along with various artifacts, including cups, bowls, plates, daggers, and marine fossils. What makes this tomb truly unique is the presence of carvings and paintings on some of the standing stones lining the passageway and chamber. These images depict humans, cups, knives, and geometric shapes, offering a glimpse into the beliefs and customs of the people who built and used this tomb. The origins of Neolithic tomb construction in Europe remain a mystery. However, we do know that the Neolithic Revolution began around 12,000 years ago in the region now known as the Middle East, but the development and spread of tomb architecture in Europe is still unclear. By the 5th and 4th millennia BCE, passage tombs became more common, possibly originating from earlier tomb styles in Eastern Europe. The appearance of these megalithic tombs likely started on the Iberian Peninsula before spreading northward to areas of Atlantic Europe. Soto was discovered in 1923 by Soto Murillas, who was planning to build a new house on his land. He quickly realized he had stumbled upon an ancient site and contacted German archaeologist Hugo Obermeier, who excavated and documented the tomb from 1924 to 1926. While Andalusia has approximately 1,650 Neolithic burial sites, the Soto stone tomb is considered the most unique because it stands isolated and differs from the concentrated architectural styles found elsewhere. Viewed from the outside, these tombs typically feature a circular mound with an east-west oriented entrance leading to an underground corridor. This corridor, known as the passageway, usually connects to a designated burial chamber. Inside Soto, the passageway and chamber form a continuous and gradually expanding gallery. The stone columns within the corridor and chamber are decorated with megalithic art, often accompanied by schematic images. This artwork may have been created during construction, or more likely while the tomb was in use. In recent years, a team of researchers from Portugal, Spain, and the United Kingdom conducted a comprehensive study of the carved and painted stones inside the tomb. They employed various techniques, such as Raman spectroscopy, to record and analyze images that most previous scholars had overlooked. More than 60% of the tomb's standing stones feature carvings and traces of pigment, revealed through photographic measurement techniques. These images include a variety of motifs, such as circles, daggers, human figures, cups, geometric forms, and circular patterns, providing insight into social changes during the Neolithic period, especially in the context of the introduction and use of copper and bronze weapons. The research team discovered that some carvings were made by reusing an old large standing stone, while others were created during or after the tomb's construction. They also found some paintings made with red ochre, a pigment used throughout prehistory. Researchers believe these images may have had different meanings and functions depending on their location, orientation, and visibility within the tomb. The presence of red pigment applied to the carvings suggests a deliberate act to enhance the visibility of certain motifs. The team is currently investigating whether this application was solely for visual enhancement or if the pigment added additional significance or power to the carvings. The mysterious alien door. On May 7, 2022, NASA's Curiosity rover captured a remarkable image on Mars that stirred excitement among scientists and the online community alike. The photo showed a strange structure resembling a mysterious door carved into the rock, with perfectly defined edges, prompting many to imagine it as an entrance to an alien dwelling. Taken at the Greenhoe Pediment area, known for its complex geological features, the image sparked widespread speculation on social media. Some suggested it could be the entrance to a mine shaft or even a portal to another universe. This photo inspired numerous science fiction stories, with many believing the door might be a shelter for Martians or a sign of extraterrestrial life. However, scientists offered more realistic explanations. Some researchers believe the structure is simply a natural crack formed by stress forces acting on the rock, causing it to fracture. Furthermore, although the photo suggests a relatively large structure, the actual door may only be a few centimeters or several inches tall, a detail the image doesn't clearly reveal. Interestingly, just days before Curiosity took this photo, Mars experienced its largest recorded earthquake on May 4th, raising questions about whether these events might be connected. Scientists are still studying and analyzing the quake to better understand its causes and effects. Regardless of the outcome, unusual images from space always spark human curiosity about the possibility of life beyond Earth. A recent example is China's Yutu-2 rover discovering a block-shaped structure on the moon, which led some to imagine an alien hut. However, after thorough analysis, experts explained it was simply a rock with an unusual shape caused by lighting and perspective. Still, such discoveries continue to captivate public attention and imagination, reminding us that in science, every finding has plausible explanations, even if it sometimes seems mysterious and strange. The 700-year-old Buddha head, hidden in the roots of an ancient tree. Ayutthaya, the historic city of Thailand, once stood as a symbol of prosperity and power. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya became the second capital of the Siamese Kingdom, now Thailand. From the 14th to the 18th century, this city was not only a major commercial hub, but also the largest cultural and religious center in Southeast Asia. Built on river islands, Ayutthaya was known for its grand temples, golden Buddha statues, and majestic architecture, making it one of the largest cities in the world at that time. However, like many great civilizations, Ayutthaya faced harsh challenges. In 1767, the Burmese army, now Myanmar, invaded and devastated the city. Temples lay in ruins, Buddha statues were shattered, and a once thriving city became a desolate battlefield. This was one of the most brutal attacks in Southeast Asian history, causing great loss not only to Thailand, but also to human culture as a whole. Yet, the story of Ayutthaya did not end with destruction. In the 20th century, the Thai government made great efforts to restore and preserve this historic city. Thanks to continuous restoration work, Ayutthaya gradually revived, and in 1991, UNESCO recognized it as a World Heritage Site, protecting its monuments and cultural values. One of the most remarkable attractions for visitors in Ayutthaya is Wat Mahathat Temple, famous for a Buddha head hidden within the massive roots of a Bodhi tree. This Buddha statue is about 700 years old, and no one knows exactly why it was placed in this unique position. However, experts believe the image of the Buddha head, enveloped by intertwining roots, creates not only a mysterious scene, but also evokes a sense of transcendence, a sacred connection between humans and nature. There is also a local legend that when Ayutthaya was invaded, a soldier may have placed the Buddha head at the tree's base to protect it from destruction. Over time, the tree's roots grew around the statue, forming a vivid image symbolizing both endurance and the fierce vitality of Ayutthaya through the trials of history. While the true reason why the statue lies within the tree roots remains unknown, as you can see, this image is not only a captivating tourist destination, but also a powerful testament to the revival of a great culture, an emblem of resilience and hope. Ayutthaya, despite its tremendous losses, still stands tall, continuing to tell its story and remaining a precious heritage, not just for the Thai people, but for the world. The giant kidney-shaped beans on Mars. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO, has discovered a strange phenomenon on the surface of Mars: giant kidney-shaped beans made of frozen material. These are actually frozen sand dunes located in the northern hemisphere of the Red Planet, covered by a layer of carbon dioxide ice during the winter season. The latest image, taken in September 2022 and released in December 2024, provides a top-down view of these unusual beans. Studying these dunes helps scientists understand whether there was ever enough water on Mars to support life in the past. The sand dunes in the image appear frozen and immobile because the carbon dioxide ice prevents the wind from blowing the sand, keeping the dunes from shifting until the ice melts in spring. Although carbon dioxide ice is not water, its presence suggests significant climate changes on Mars. This is important because research shows that the amount of carbon dioxide on Mars changes dramatically due to the planet's axial tilt. Whenever Mars tilts enough, the carbon dioxide ice can sublimate into gas, creating a thicker atmosphere capable of sustaining liquid water for extended periods. Changes in Mars' atmosphere may be a key factor in understanding whether the planet could have supported life in the past. If there were periods when the climate allowed liquid water to exist stably, it opens the possibility that Mars once hosted microbial life. Furthermore, studying the seasonal changes of carbon dioxide ice may help scientists identify new geological formations and better understand Mars' climate evolution. Discoveries like this not only clarify Mars's climatic history, but also help us imagine the planet's potential to have supported life or still conceal microbial life mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The Viking rock that reveals humanity's future. The Viking-era rock runestone, carved in the first half of the 9th century, was hidden for years wrapped in cloth inside a church in Östergötland, Sweden. It was discovered in 1843 by workers renovating the church, but wasn't officially uncovered and displayed until 1862. The stone bears mysterious inscriptions in runes, the ancient Viking script, encoded with a special logic that has puzzled scholars and scientists for centuries. Earlier this year, a research team from the University of Gothenburg, Sweden, led by Professor Per Holmberg, decoded the enigmatic text on the rock runestone. According to Professor Holmberg, the first 5 lines predict the apocalypse, specifically linked to the sun. The next 4 lines speak about Odin, the supreme god in Norse mythology. Odin is said to lead the gods and immortal in the final battle of the world, Ragnarok. The runestone was commissioned by Varin, a Viking chieftain. Other parts mention Theodoric, the feared leader of the Ostrogoths, who ruled vast lands across Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire. Theodoric's reign marked the beginning of a long dark age in European history. A series of massive volcanic eruptions, along with famine through prolonged summers and winters, claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. According to the Chronicle of Procopius, in 536 AD, snow fell during summer. The sun shone dimly like the moon all year, and thick fog prevented crops from growing. Hundreds of thousands died from hunger and disease worldwide. Varin, who commissioned the rock runestone, apparently foresaw these events repeating again. The first 5 lines of the stone read, "A fierce solar storm turns the sky fiery red. Winter lasts all year, killing the crops. A solar eclipse occurs right after sunrise." All these are signs heralding an impending apocalypse. Archaeologists interpret the inscriptions on the rock runestone as a warning of an upcoming catastrophe. Global climate change. Varin's prophecies may well come true, though possibly with a timing slightly different from his expectations. Alien spaceship, hiding in the Amazon rainforest. In 2020, an unusual object resembling an alien spaceship was discovered deep within the Amazon rainforest, sparking a wave of public excitement and attracting the attention of many enthusiasts of mysterious phenomena. Satellite images showed an unidentified flying object, UFO, hidden among the dense foliage, believed to be quite large in size, fueling much speculation about its origin and purpose. The object's location was identified in the state of Rondônia, in the northwest of Brazil, a region known for its vast Amazon rainforest. From above, the object has a very distinct shape, leading many to associate it with an alien spacecraft. The appearance of a UFO in this dense jungle quickly caught the attention of social media users and UFO researchers, making the story spread rapidly. However, experts and scientists offered a different explanation. They suggested it could simply be an optical illusion or an artifact caused by satellite image interference. Some even argued the object might just be a light source or a bright orb accidentally discovered by Google Maps users. Other hypotheses propose the image might be a reflection of clouds or a technical glitch during the satellite photo capture. Despite all this, the strange object remains unexplained, leading many to continue believing it might be evidence of extraterrestrial life. So far, scientists have yet to reach a definitive conclusion about the mysterious object's origin, and all theories remain speculative. What about you? Do you believe this object is truly an alien spaceship, or could it be something else? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below so we can discuss together. The mystery of the ghostly mahogany ship at sea. World maritime history holds many mysteries about ghost ships and vessels that vanished without a trace. Some stories have been solved, but many remain unexplained to this day. Among the most notable is the mysterious disappearance of the mahogany ship off southern Australia. After hundreds of years, the whereabouts of this ship remain shrouded in darkness. About 2 to 4 miles west of Warrnambool in southwestern Victoria, Armstrong Bay is one of Australia's most dangerous coastal areas. It's estimated that around 200 different ships and boats have been lost in these waters. All wrecks have been found except for the mahogany ship. The story began in January 1836 when Captain Smith, who managed a whaling station at Ferry Cove, along with 2 men named Wilson and Gibb, were shipwrecked. On their way home, they discovered the remains of an old ship unlike any vessel built in the 1800s. The ship's wood was very dark, and many believed it was made from mahogany, a type of wood almost never used in shipbuilding. From then on, the name mahogany ship was born. Surprisingly, after the three men's discovery, no one else ever saw the wreck again. 10 years later, the mahogany ship story resurfaced in southern Australia when another captain named Mills claimed to have seen the wreck and even stood on its deck resting on the sand. He described the exact location in later documents. However, just like before, the wreck disappeared shortly after. This mysterious pattern repeated throughout the 1800s. By the late 19th century, the mahogany ship was reported appearing and vanishing mysteriously over 30 times. The first expedition to find the wreck took place in June 1890, led by Joseph Archibald, but yielded no results. Following this, many rushed to search for the legendary shipwreck, but all efforts were in vain. Over time, the story faded into obscurity, surviving only as folklore. Towards the end of the 20th century, the mahogany ship story was revived once more. In 1992, the Victorian government offered a reward equivalent to about $225,000 for anyone who could locate the wreck. Despite the involvement of many reputable archaeologists, the ship remains lost in the shadows. Most 19th century documents suggest the mahogany ship was a Spanish vessel. According to local writer Jack Loney, there are two main theories about its origin. It could be the Santa Isabel, which sailed from Peru in 1522, or the Santa Ana, a ship that sank in 1812 carrying 45 tons of whale oil. Many believe it's unnecessary to chase the truth behind a ship that may exist only in legend, like the mahogany ship. However, if the ship did exist, it could rewrite a significant part of maritime history. If the mahogany ship is not of British origin, historians would need to reconsider who actually mapped Australia's southern coast, rather than crediting the famous British captain James Cook. Some experts even think the ship was part of a secret Portuguese mission searching for the legendary southern lands. The ship may have sunk in 1522 during a voyage to find gold-hidden islands. The secrecy of the mission could explain why the ship's loss was never recorded in ancient documents. Regardless, all these remain hypotheses. The story of the mahogany ship remains hidden in darkness, awaiting answers in the future. The Forgotten Pyramid in Ko Kir Temple. Ko Kir Temple is located in northeastern Cambodia. According to historical records, General Jayavarman IV broke away from the Angkor royal court due to disagreements with the king. He established his own kingdom and commissioned a new temple complex at Ko Kir to serve as his capital and place of worship. Construction began in 921 AD and was completed in 944 AD. While Angkor Wat attracts millions of visitors annually, Ko Kir remains largely forgotten due to difficult access and limited restoration efforts. The Ko Kir Pyramid stands in a vast, flat forested area, enclosed within a large outer wall. It is also surrounded by an extensive system of artificial canals and reservoirs, which enhance the pyramid's height and prominence against the sky. Recent measurements show the pyramid's base edges are about 216 feet wide, with a height of 131 feet at the top. The structure remains in excellent condition. Its walls are made from a combination of volcanic stones inside and harder sandstone blocks on the exterior. The outer stones vary in size and are arranged in an interlocking, staggered pattern. The bricks are naturally fitted together without mortar or cement. Unlike modern construction, hexagonal bricks serve as keys locking other bricks tightly in place. The seven-tiered pyramid symbolizes a sacred number in Hinduism. The first tier contains 11 rows of bricks, the second has 13 rows, and tiers 3 through 7 each have 11 rows. The pyramid faces east, but its only staircase to the top is on the west side. There is no entrance to the pyramid's interior, suggesting it may lie hidden underground. Scientists studying Ko Kir's design believe it functions as an energy amplifier. The pyramid's shape is ideally suited to generate and magnify natural energy. Additionally, the building materials, sandstone, which conducts electricity, combined with iron-rich volcanic rock, may act as a natural power source. The surrounding artificial lakes and canals channel water ions as energy sources, possibly harnessing steam dynamics as well. Smaller concentric square terraces and walls help focus geomagnetic energy into the pyramid, amplifying its power. So far, all of this remains theoretical. The true origin and purpose of the Ko Kir Pyramid remain a mystery. The roads, covered with molten iron, 2,000 years ago. About 2,000 years ago, the ancient Romans in Pompeii created a masterpiece in road construction. American researchers analyzed stone roads, many of which remain intact after nearly 2 millennia, and discovered strange traces of molten iron on the finest stretches. The Pompeii authorities had invented an extremely effective and inexpensive road repair technology that involved using molten iron. According to Professor Eric Poehler, this is the first large-scale confirmation found by scientists that supports the hypothesis of molten iron technology used by the ancient Romans. With the city's age reaching 2,000 years, what they achieved is truly astonishing. After heating the iron until molten, slaves transported it to damaged road sections and filled in cracks and worn areas. Some of these repaired roads were found completely intact. However, how the Romans managed to melt iron to a point where it could be carefully poured into cracked pavement remains a mystery. To obtain molten iron, they had to heat iron slag and scraps to temperatures between 2012 degrees and 2912 degrees Celsius. Remarkably, archaeologists found some advanced Roman furnaces nearby. Could it be that ancient people had reached such a high level of technology? Pompeii was known as a modern, highly civilized metropolis. Sadly, this city was buried alive by a volcanic disaster, leaving behind haunting ruins and petrified people. The $650 billion Nazi treasure hidden in the forest. The Daily Mail reported that a Nazi treasure worth 500 million British pounds, about $650 billion USD, was discovered in a forest in Germany. However, the finder has been forbidden from excavating it because the forest owner refuses permission. Hans Glueck, 76, who found this massive treasure, said the forest owner wants exclusive rights to the treasure. According to Daily Mail, the hoard contains gold, silver, diamonds, and valuable artworks. Some historical documents indicate that in the final days of Nazi Germany, Commander Heinrich Himmler ordered his subordinates to hide all their assets. The treasure was buried somewhere in the Alps, with Nazi leaders planning to return later to retrieve it. After fleeing to Austria, Kaltenbrunner was captured by American troops. At Kaltenbrunner's home, U.S. soldiers discovered 167 pounds of gold buried in the garden. A few days later, he was executed for war crimes. Kaltenbrunner's death left the whereabouts of the billion-dollar gold treasure uncertain. The gold hoard is believed to be buried in the Bavarian forest in Germany, and only Hans Glueck knows its exact location. After the Nazis hid the treasure there, the Soviets won an important victory and captured all Nazi soldiers in the area. Glueck says that to find the treasure, a map is needed. Without guidance, an ordinary person would never find around $650 billion gold hoard. In 1995, Glueck gave an interview on Bavaria TV, sharing that he had traveled extensively to Greece, Portugal, and the US searching for treasure. Among these, his quest for the Nazi treasure brought him worldwide fame. After the Bavaria TV interview, an unknown man called him claiming to have a map that might interest you. This map reportedly belonged to a Nazi officer and was seized by Soviet forces. It was then sent to Siberia, where it came into the hands of the caller. Daily Mail suggests that this map helped Glueck pinpoint the Nazi treasure's burial site. However, to this day, whether the Nazi gold treasure truly exists remains a mystery without any confirmed answer. The 14 shocking new discoveries about aliens that terrify scientists. Alien base on the moon. What would you think if I told you aliens might be living on the moon and this is not a joke? Sounds like science fiction, right? But hold on. Today's story will make you think twice. A man named Tyler Glockner shook the online community when he discovered a strange structure in a photo officially released by NASA. Yes, you heard that right. NASA posted that photo online, and it seems they didn't notice anything unusual in it. Tyler, who is also a member of the well-known amateur research group Secure Team 10, believes this was a mistake by NASA. He said, "They probably thought no one would be sharp enough to spot those small details, but they were wrong. And you know what? When the video about this discovery was uploaded, it quickly gained over 269,000 views and thousands of comments from people all over the world. Some said the structure looked like a pyramid standing prominently on the moon. Others saw what appeared to be a nuclear reactor plant, complete with faint smoke columns as if it were actually functioning. Tyler even pointed out, This is not just a single object, it's a whole system of large-scale constructions. Does that give you goosebumps yet? However, NASA remains conservative. They say everything people are seeing is just a visual illusion called pareidolia, when the human brain perceives familiar shapes in clouds, rocks, or in this case, the moon's surface. But if it were really just imagination, why do so many unusual features keep appearing repeatedly in satellite images? More importantly, this isn't the first time Secure Team 10 has made shocking claims about the moon. In many images from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO, they repeatedly point out suspicious details, from circular structures to floating objects like flying saucers, even shapes resembling doors or tunnels. It sounds like science fiction, but all these come from real images. What's striking is that many independent researchers have started raising questions. They're calling on NASA and international space agencies to expand moon exploration, not only to study the physical environment, but also to investigate whether anyone else might be living off the moon. What about you? Do you think this is just a visual misunderstanding, or could it be evidence of an alien civilization we've never known? Leave your thoughts below, because this story is only the tip of the iceberg. And who knows, next time we might not even need to look through satellite lenses. The truth might be much closer than we think. Non-human skull. Clues to aliens in the Nazis' ancient suitcase. Have you ever imagined that one day we might find traces of aliens, not on Mars, but right here on Earth, specifically in the Caucasus Mountains, in the cold region of Adygea, Russia? It sounds like the plot of a sci-fi horror movie, but the story you're about to hear is real, and much more chilling. Specifically, a group of explorers from the Ahnenerbe Research Institute, a Nazi organization active from 1939 to 1945, during an expedition in those wild mountains, discovered two strange skulls along with a locked rectangular box as if hiding something no one should know about. The outside of the box was engraved with strange symbols, which many suspect to be the Ahnenerbe emblem, an organization infamous worldwide for its mysterious hunts from Tibet to Antarctica and other remote places no one had ever set foot on. What shocked scientists was that the shapes of these two skulls didn't resemble any known creatures. No jaws, no skull caps, but with very large eye sockets and faces somewhat human-like, almost like we were looking at some kind of evolved version not from Earth. One shocking hypothesis is that these might be the remains of the Anunnaki, alien gods from ancient Sumerian mythology, believed to have created humanity tens of thousands of years ago. The names Anu and Ki, according to some, mean royal bloodline or descendants of the gods. How does that sound? Creepy enough? More intriguing, inside that suitcase was a map of the Adygea region drawn by Germans in 1941, and what's suspicious is that it's incredibly accurate, as if made using modern satellite technology rather than from World War II era. So the question arises, are the items inside the box connected to the two mysterious skulls? Or is the Ahnenerbe hiding something never revealed before? Some believe they have kept the skull of a Martian creature, or even the creator of humanity, an entity not from Earth. Of course, to this day, it's all just speculation. No one has proven what those skulls are, where they came from, or their significance in human evolution history. But clearly, the truth behind them challenges all our knowledge and makes many wonder. Have we ever been watched or even influenced by a more advanced civilization long ago? The mysterious base on Iapetus. Are aliens hiding near Saturn? If you think the universe is just made of rocks, dust, and gas, think again. Somewhere out there, among billions of stars, a cosmic neighbor might have been silently observing us for a very long time, and their base could be located right on Iapetus, one of Saturn's largest moons. Sound like a crazy sci-fi theory? Not quite. A number of UFO researchers, most notably Scott C. Waring, a well-known name in the alien hunting community, have discovered a bizarre structure on the surface of this moon. And it's not small by any means. At least 3.1 miles long, 2.5 miles wide, and nearly 1 mile high. This isn't something you could just miss if you were casually flying a spacecraft through the area. What's even more intriguing is that NASA appears to have blurred this area in the officially released images. That's right, Scott Waring used a mobile app called Saturn Atlas to identify this anomaly. While the original NASA photos show nothing unusual, The app's images reveal a massive black region that looks suspiciously like a deliberately constructed facility. Is someone hiding something? So, what's NASA's response? As usual, they claim it's just our brains playing tricks on us, a psychological phenomenon called pareidolia, where we see familiar shapes like rabbits in clouds or faces on walls. But is it really that simple? Some say no. In fact, a former NASA engineer once boldly stated, "Alien spacecraft have been and are still using Saturn's rings as a hiding place." He even warned that the number of these craft is increasing at an alarming rate, and they may be slowly approaching Earth. Creeped out yet? A massive structure on Saturn's moon, believed by many to be a secret operational base for an advanced alien civilization, just so happens to be located in an area where NASA hasn't provided full data. Could it be that the truth is too big to reveal? Of course, this could all just be speculation, but just like finding a footprint in the desert, it's enough to make us ask, who passed through here? And if Iapetus really is home to extraterrestrial beings, the bigger question remains, how much longer are we safe? Hard to say, isn't it? The 10,000-year mystery. Did aliens visit Earth and leave clues on ancient rock walls? Have you ever wondered, if aliens really did visit Earth, where's the evidence? It might not be in a lab or through a telescope, but carved right into ancient rocks deep in the wild jungles of India. Sounds like folklore? Think again. What you're about to hear might just change how you view the entire history of humanity. In Charama, a remote and mysterious region in the Indian state of Chhattisgarh, Indian archaeologists discovered strange rock paintings estimated to be 10,000 years old. Yes, you heard that right. 10,000 years ago, when humans were still hunters and gatherers, someone carved images that have left modern scientists stunned. Figures resembling aliens, UFOs, and even spacesuits. The carvings don't just show oddly shaped humans with large heads, but also flying saucers, complete with antennas and tripod landing legs, looking exactly like spacecraft from sci-fi films. One figure even appears to be holding something resembling a modern weapon. Now think about it. How could ancient humans, without any concept of space travel, draw these things? So the question arises, who inspired these drawings? What's even more mind-blowing is the color durability of the artwork. Made entirely from natural materials, the pigments have stayed vibrant for thousands of years, almost as if they were painted yesterday. Archaeologists admit this is highly unusual and could be a sign that prehistoric people saw something they couldn't explain in words, so they documented it with images. And Karama isn't alone. In Cayuse Creek, Idaho, an ancient mural depicts a creature sitting in a saucer-shaped UFO, hovering low and trailing smoke. Eerily similar to scenes from Hollywood movies, yet painted thousands of years before cameras or film existed. Coincidence? Or evidence of early contact between humans and beings from elsewhere? India, interestingly, also has a record of modern UFO encounters. In 1951, in New Delhi, 25 members of a flying club reported seeing a cigar-shaped object floating in the sky before it vanished before their eyes. More recently, in 2013, residents of Chennai reported 5 glowing orange objects flying in formation. In remote mountain regions like Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, locals have long claimed to see UFOs and mysterious lights flashing in the sky in places where even cell phone signals are weak, yet these messages from the sky appear vividly. So how do we make sense of all this? Just ancient imagination? Or are these scattered clues across thousands of years finally coming together to form a groundbreaking realization? We are not alone. And maybe, just maybe, they've come, gone, but never truly left. What do you think? Take a second look at history. Who knows? Maybe the truth we're looking for has been carved into stone for 10,000 years. Alien object beneath the Baltic Sea. Imagine drifting across the icy waters of the Baltic Sea. Beneath the deep, cold surface lies not a treasure nor a sunken ship, but a massive circular object, eerily resembling the classic flying saucer often depicted in stories about extraterrestrials. It sounds like a scene straight out of a science fiction movie, but this incident actually happened in June 2001, discovered by the Ocean X team, a group of professional treasure hunters operating offshore. While scanning the seafloor with sonar equipment, the team suddenly detected a massive object measuring approximately 200 feet in diameter and 13 feet high. What was strange was its incredibly smooth, evenly curved shape, as if it had been crafted using some ultra-advanced technology. It didn't resemble a sunken ship, an aircraft, or a natural rock formation. It looked exactly like a UFO from Star Wars. The discovery stunned the entire team. As soon as the news went online, public interest exploded. Many believed this was a crashed UFO, tangible proof that aliens had once visited Earth. But the excitement was quickly dampened when the Ocean X team hit a major obstacle. As soon as their remotely operated vehicle, ROV, approached the object, all electronics failed. No control, no video feed. Only when the vehicle backed away beyond a 656 feet radius did the system start working again. A sort of electronic dead zone in the middle of the sea. Strange, isn't it? Refusing to give up, the team sent down an experienced diver, even though the vessel couldn't get close. In the pitch-black darkness of the deep sea, his headlamp was the only source of light. As he approached the disk and tried to chip off a piece for analysis, his light went out, his oxygen tank shut down, and communication with the ship was lost. He had no choice but to frantically swim back, nearly losing his life. Thankfully, the crew managed to pull him out just in time. Give up or press on? Some members wanted to return, but curiosity prevailed. Another diver was sent down. This time, he was luckier. He managed to retrieve a sample from the disk and bring it to a lab. The results? Scientists found the material contained titanium, iron, and manganese, but more astonishing was the complexity of the alloy, which was far too advanced to have formed naturally. Even more incredible, the rock sample was dated at approximately 140,000 years old. Could humanity have had such advanced technology back then? It didn't end there. Upon reviewing the sonar images, the Ocean X team found a long trail behind the object, as if it had crashed and slid along the seabed. That trail led to a second disc-shaped object, located about 656 feet away from the first. The most plausible theory? A massive UFO had broken in two upon impact, with each half sliding in opposite directions. Even more bizarre, a Swedish pilot once reported seeing a giant circular flying object over the Baltic Sea. It hovered silently, then shot up to an altitude of 32,800 feet in just seconds and vanished. When the pilot sketched what he saw, it looked remarkably like the Ocean X disk. A coincidence? Or proof that the disk once soared through the skies before finding its final resting place at the bottom of the sea? To this day, the disk remains submerged beneath the frigid Baltic waters. Due to lack of funding and support, the Swedish military declined to assist in recovery efforts, while the Ocean X team continues to investigate under extremely challenging conditions. Harsh waves, treacherous terrain, and a mysterious object that interferes with all modern equipment, this has become one of the most thrilling unsolved mysteries of the 21st century. So what exactly is that massive disk? A relic from a lost civilization, an alien spacecraft, or an unknown natural formation unlike anything we've ever seen? There's no definitive answer yet, but one thing is certain. This discovery forces us to question not just our past, but what might lie beneath the surface of our oceans and beyond. Secret alien base beneath the Bermuda Triangle. Have you ever wondered, if aliens really do exist and are secretly observing Earth, where might they be hiding? Out in the star-filled sky? Inside some spacecraft drifting through deep space? Or perhaps right beneath our feet, in the mysterious depths of the Bermuda Triangle? Today's story is not for the faint of heart. We're diving deep into one of the most shocking theories of the last few decades, that aliens have a secret base at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle, a place where hundreds of submarines and aircraft have vanished without a trace. Between 1904 and 2004, over 200 mysterious submarine disappearances were reported in the Bermuda region. No collisions, no distress signals, no floating debris, just vessels inexplicably vanishing into the ocean's abyss. Meanwhile, the Russian Navy has long struggled to explain strange sounds echoing from the deep, noises their most advanced equipment can't identify. By now you might be thinking, isn't this all just coincidence? Not so fast, there's more. Many experts believe that if aliens wanted to observe humanity without being detected, the ocean floor would be the perfect hiding spot. No one monitors the entire deep sea, and no satellite can detect unusual activity beneath miles of frigid water. It's the ideal location for secret alien bases, just like the ones you've seen in sci-fi movies. Recently, internet users have been buzzing about an image captured by Google Earth, a mysterious, unmarked aircraft flying low over the ocean near Santa Catalina Island, an area already rumored to be a UFO hotspot. Interestingly, this location has reported numerous unusual phenomena, much like the Bermuda region. Naturally, speculation followed. The popular YouTube channel UFO Mania quickly released a video analyzing the image. According to them, the aircraft could be a classified government flight sent to investigate or monitor an alien base beneath the sea. But here's the twist. No official confirmation, no press release, no explanation. Just a tidal wave of online theories and growing public suspicion. Are world governments hiding something? Or are these just wild internet conspiracy theories blown out of proportion? We don't have definitive answers, but one thing's undeniable. There have been far too many strange coincidences in the Bermuda Triangle. What do you think of this theory? Could there really be an alien base hidden in the ocean depths where no human eye can see and no ear can hear? Or is it all just the universe playing tricks on us? Leave your thoughts below. Your insight might just unlock a whole new perspective for those still searching for the truth. A mysterious 1.6-mile-long row of holes beneath the ocean. Deep in the ocean, where sunlight can no longer reach, explorers stumbled upon something so eerie it sent chills down their spines. A perfectly aligned row of holes stretching across the seafloor at a depth of 1.6 miles in the Atlantic Ocean. Not a single hole was out of place, not a single misstep. And the most unsettling part? No one knows who or what created them. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But this is a verified finding reported by the research team aboard the Okeanos Explorer under the direction of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. While surveying the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an area largely untouched by human activity, they came across a series of strange perforations on the seafloor, aligned so precisely it seemed as if an invisible hand had deliberately arranged them. And if you're thinking it was just a few scattered holes, think again. These holes were spaced at regular intervals, so precise that even the most skeptical scientists were baffled. From a distance, it looked like someone had jabbed a sharp stick into the ground rhythmically, one hole at a time. But here's the kicker. The ocean floor at that depth isn't made of soft sand. It's composed of hard sedimentary rock, a surface so tough that even modern drilling equipment struggles to break through it. So how could such holes be created? Could it be evidence of an extraterrestrial presence? Even NOAA didn't dare draw conclusions. On their official Facebook page, they offered a cryptic remark. While these holes appear to be man-made, the surrounding area feels as though it has been excavated by something else. Something else? Sound familiar? Those who believe in alien theories are likely nodding their heads right now. This mystery actually echoes a similar case from 2004, when two American scientists encountered nearly identical holes during a separate oceanic mission. They too were unable to offer a convincing explanation. At the time, it was speculated that some unknown deep-sea creatures might be responsible, a theory that, while plausible, lacked any concrete evidence. Some suggested geological activity, like fissures caused by underwater volcanic events, as a possible explanation. But let's be honest, nature can create many oddities, but a perfectly straight line of identical holes as if drawn with a ruler? That's a different story. The alien hypothesis remains on the table. Some believe these are the remnants of ancient extraterrestrial activity, marks left behind from surveying missions, resource extraction, or even the movement of unknown machinery. These tiny dots on the seafloor could be a map, a path, or, who knows, a form of message. This discovery also brings to mind the so-called Yellow Brick Road found last year near Hawaii, a geological formation that looked uncannily like the entrance to the mythical city of Atlantis. Scientists brushed it off as the result of volcanic activity, but many were unconvinced by such a tidy explanation. So what do you think these mysterious holes are? Natural formations? Traces of unknown marine life? Or perhaps the work of a force from beyond our world? Personally, I'm still torn, unsure whether to believe in the existence of aliens or not. The Alien Temple on Mars. Have you ever heard of an ancient temple on Mars? It might sound like a far-fetched sci-fi plot, but this story caused a stir in the online community and among alien hunters for quite some time. In March 2019, NASA's Curiosity rover captured and transmitted a photo from Mars that shocked many. A mysterious structure perched atop a bright red hill, resembling an ancient temple or stepped pyramid. It didn't take long for UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists to become completely obsessed with the image. Some people believe this is the remnant of an ancient civilization that once existed on the Red Planet. Scott C. Waring, a well-known figure in the conspiracy theory world, boldly claimed that the structure resembled a flat-topped pyramid with tiered steps, large enough for someone to walk on. He even suggested that NASA was deliberately hiding information about this discovery to avoid global panic. What do you think? Could NASA really be covering something up? Or is it just part of a psychological game fueled by online conspiracies? NASA experts quickly dismissed the rumors, saying the so-called temple was nothing more than an ordinary rock formation, shaped over millions of years by wind, dust, and natural erosion on Mars. They referred to the phenomenon as pareidolia, when the human brain perceives familiar patterns like faces or structures in unrelated objects. You know, like seeing a face in a cloud or a human figure in a rock. Sounds logical enough. But still, if it's just an ordinary rock, why does it appear so organized and architecturally structured? That's the crux of the debate. Many still hold on to hope that this could be the first clue to uncovering extraterrestrial life or evidence of a once thriving Martian civilization. At the very least, it adds to the list of strange and unexplained phenomena on Mars. It brings back the age-old question, are we alone in the universe? Though these suspicious structures remain unconfirmed, they spark the imagination and push us to consider the possibility of intelligent life beyond Earth. If you're someone who's ever been curious, or even just hopeful, that there's something else out there, why not keep exploring these mysterious findings? Who knows? Next time we might find more than just a photograph. The universe is vast, its mysteries are endless, and the temple on Mars remains one of the most compelling stories still waiting for answers. What do you think? Is it the remnant of a lost civilization? Or just a trick of light and shadow? Leave a comment, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The terrifying encounter with aliens in Kentucky, an unsolved mystery. Do you believe that a peaceful summer night in a small town could suddenly turn into a horrifying nightmare? On August 21, 1955, at a farm in Kelly, Kentucky, an event shook the entire community. And to this day, the story still sends chills down the spines of those who recall it. Imagine this. You're having a pleasant evening with friends when suddenly, a bright, shimmering object appears in the night sky. Billy Ray Taylor and a group of friends, including the Sutton family, were enjoying an ordinary evening when everything changed. While heading out to the well to get water, Billy Ray saw a radiant silver object flying overhead, glowing in a spectrum of colors like a rainbow, a sight that would startle anyone. When he rushed back to tell the others, none of them could have expected that this was only the beginning of a night they would never forget. The dogs began barking loudly, a warning that something unusual was approaching. Then, strange creatures emerged, unlike anything anyone had ever seen. They had large, round heads, long arms with sharp claws nearly touching the ground, sleek silvery bodies, and glowing yellow eyes. Something straight out of a sci-fi movie. From the darkness, these beings crept toward the house. In panic, the group armed themselves and fired their guns whenever a creature came near the windows. The scene was like a horror film. Gunshots rang out, silver figures flickered through the night, and the terror was enough to make anyone's hair stand on end. But when the police arrived, all they found was an eerie stillness. No trace of the creatures remained. You might ask, could they have imagined it all? Some neighbors believed the group had been drinking too much, leading to hallucinations and panic. But can 8 people all share the same hallucination and endure nearly 4 hours of fear together? Some of the group even had heart rates soaring to 140 beats per minute, a clear sign of how terrified they were. An alternative explanation was later suggested. Perhaps the creatures were just large owls with eyes that reflected light at night. Under stress and poor visibility, such a misidentification is plausible. But regardless of the reason, this mysterious event left a lasting question mark in the minds of UFO enthusiasts. This wasn't just some tall tale, it became one of the most well-documented close encounters in history. It's now known as the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter, one of the great unexplained mysteries of the 20th century. The story became a part of local culture, putting Kelly, Kentucky on the map with the annual Little Green Men Days festival. Every year, locals and researchers from all over gather to recount the bizarre night, to honor the memory, and to continue the search for answers. Have you ever wondered if, in this vast universe, we might be the strangers, and that the beings this group encountered were proof of life beyond Earth? Or was it all just a misunderstanding, a trick of the light and the mind in a moment of panic? Maybe the answer isn't right in front of us, but hidden in stories, research, and our endless curiosity. And it's stories like this one that keep pushing the boundaries of our knowledge, making us ask, is someone out there watching us, or have they already been here? The night of August 21st in 1955 remains a chilling mystery, unforgettable and still retold today. So if you were there, what would you have done when faced with beings from who knows where? Do you believe in such stories, or do you think science will eventually explain it all? The alien corpse in California. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, heard a strange sound in your backyard, and then suddenly seen something that defies explanation? On a chilly November night in 2015, Gianna Paponis had just such an experience. An image that quickly set the internet on fire appeared right in her backyard. It was a strange, slimy, pale pink creature with only the upper half of a body remaining. So disturbing it startled, even terrified, many who saw the image. But the question remained, was it really an alien corpse or just an elaborate hoax? Gianna recounted that just before midnight, she heard a scream coming from her yard. When she ran out to check, she was met with a bizarre sight, an unidentifiable creature that didn't resemble any known animal. At first glance, it looked like nothing we've ever seen. People quickly dubbed it the creepiest monster ever spotted, and the image spread like wildfire across social media platforms like Facebook and Reddit, racking up hundreds of thousands of comments and heated debates. But the story wasn't so simple. Some skeptics questioned the authenticity, suggesting that Gianna might be behind a publicity stunt, especially since she had previously posted a photo of a UFO that was later debunked by experts as nothing more than a missile test. As for this pale pink creature, many believe it was merely the decomposed remains of a stillborn calf, something not uncommon in rural areas of California. Surprised that something so frightening could be explained by something so ordinary? That's the thing. What we see isn't always what's real. That's part of the enduring allure of alien mysteries. We have to think for ourselves, analyze the facts, and decide what to believe. So what about you? Do you believe that somewhere out there in the vast universe, intelligent life really exists? And if so, could they visit us? Or maybe they're already silently observing us. Don't be too quick to dismiss or believe. Stories like the strange creature in Gianna's yard aren't just about eerie images. They're reminders of our unending curiosity, of the unknown, of the mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. They make us wonder, are secrets being kept from us? Could the government be hiding the truth? Or are these just the results of imagination and clever hoaxes? While there are still no definitive answers, the story continues to spread, fueling debate online. Believers point to it as evidence of extraterrestrial life. Skeptics call it a misunderstanding or a prank. So if it were up to you, what side would you take? Alien spaceship appears over mountain peak. A UFO researcher recently claimed to have discovered compelling evidence of an alien spacecraft's presence on Earth after capturing an image of a mysterious lens-shaped cloud near Mount Fuji in Japan. According to him, this unidentified flying object may have attempted to enter a secret base hidden beneath the active volcano, possibly used by extraterrestrials as a stopover or a shelter. The unusual image was recorded in February 2020, showing a massive cloud suddenly appearing in the sky near Mount Fuji. At first glance, it resembled a lenticular cloud, a rare optical phenomenon caused by sunlight passing through specific atmospheric layers. However, Scott C. Waring, a well-known UFO and conspiracy theory expert, disagreed. He claimed this was undeniable evidence of alien activity. In fact, Waring stated, "This cloud was glowing from the inside, with two dark edges and a bright golden light radiating outward. It's a clear sign that a spacecraft is being concealed within it. These alien beings are using Mount Fuji as a secret base, taking advantage of the volcano to hide their presence." He further added that with the rapid advancement of technology, finding evidence of extraterrestrial life is no longer as difficult as it once was. Cameras and smartphones have now become powerful tools for recording strange phenomena in the sky. We can now easily capture these events, and sooner or later, governments will have no choice but to reveal the truth about the existence of extraterrestrial beings, Waring asserted. However, contrary to his views, meteorological and scientific experts offer a completely different explanation. According to the UK Met Office, lenticular clouds are natural phenomena and have no connection to UFOs. They form when stable air flows over hills or mountains at different altitudes, creating disc-shaped clouds that resemble flying saucers from sci-fi films. While these clouds are relatively rare, they are often cited as one of the most common natural explanations for global UFO sightings. Astronomer Deborah Bird from earthsky.org also confirmed that lenticular clouds can appear and vanish quickly, often leading people to mistake them for alien spacecraft. A particularly relevant explanation for this confusion is the phenomenon of pareidolia, in which the human brain instinctively recognizes familiar shapes in inanimate objects. NASA has explained that pareidolia is a psychological occurrence that causes us to perceive familiar forms, like faces or objects, in clouds, rocks, or other natural elements. As you can see, even with scientific explanations readily available, stories about UFOs and aliens continue to capture human attention and imagination. So, is this truly a sign of alien contact, or just a natural event? Only time and scientific research will ultimately provide the answer. The Roswell UFO crash of 1947. In June 1947, a mysterious event stirred public interest across the United States and the world when news broke of an unidentified flying object, UFO, crash near the city of Roswell, New Mexico. The story began when an unknown object crashed in the area. After receiving reports from local residents, the U.S. military quickly arrived on the scene to recover debris believed to be from a UFO. There were even rumors that alien bodies had been discovered. At first, the military acknowledged that the object was indeed a flying disc. However, shortly afterward, officials retracted the statement and claimed it was merely the remains of a weather balloon that had exploded during a test flight. Despite this explanation, many Roswell residents refused to believe it and insisted the government was covering up the truth about UFOs. The incident became a major topic of controversy and remains one of the most debated and unresolved events in UFO history. The story heated up further when Richard French, a former U.S. Air Force pilot, revealed to the media that two unidentified objects had actually crashed in the Roswell area in 1947. French, who served with the rank of lieutenant colonel, stated that one of the UFOs was shot down by an experimental aircraft while flying over White Sands, New Mexico. Even more shocking, he claimed that the weapon used to bring down the UFO was a laser pulse device, a technology that had not yet been publicly disclosed at the time. According to French, the second object crashed several miles away from the first, possibly while attempting to search for survivors from the initial crash. This revelation led many to believe that a real alien encounter had occurred at Roswell, and that extraterrestrial beings might have died in the incident. However, despite numerous theories and speculations, no conclusive evidence or official documents from the U.S. military have ever confirmed the existence of a UFO or alien life related to the Roswell event. The government's lack of transparency and vague explanations have turned the Roswell incident into one of the biggest UFO mysteries of all time, fueling conspiracy theories and unanswered questions that persist to this day. Ancient traces of extraterrestrials. The Vinca civilization, which existed from around 5000 to 3500 BCE, has sparked much skepticism and debate regarding the possibility of ancient alien contact. Supporters of this theory have pointed to several compelling pieces of evidence to back their claims. Traces of the Vinca culture have been discovered along the Danube River, an area that played a key role in waterway trade and commerce. This region was a hub of cultural and economic development. Specifically, at Beloberdo Hill near Belgrade, archaeologists uncovered copper tools dating back approximately 1,000 years before copper was believed to be commonly used in Europe. This suggests that the Vinca people were early adopters of metallurgy, an advanced achievement for their time. Additionally, during an excavation at an ancient burial site near Varna, experts discovered the remains of a gold smelting furnace estimated to be around 6,500 years old, believed to be the oldest gold smelting facility in the world. These findings further support the idea that the Vinca civilization was highly advanced, particularly in metalworking technology. What truly raises eyebrows are the strange humanoid figurines created by the Vinca people. These statues feature characteristics such as oval-shaped heads, large bulging eyes, long narrow noses, and small mouths. Some researchers speculate that these figures may depict extraterrestrial beings, especially when compared to common descriptions of alien appearances found in science fiction literature and UFO reports. Despite their remarkable advancements, the Vinca civilization vanished mysteriously from history without a clear explanation. This abrupt disappearance, combined with their technological achievements, has led many to question whether the Vinca people had contact with beings from another world. However, due to the lack of concrete evidence, the scientific community has yet to confirm any extraterrestrial link to the Vinca civilization. Mysteries remain mysteries, and with our ordinary eyes and human intellect, we may never fully uncover the truth behind them. Strange floating object on Mars. On August 30th, a photo of Mars's surface sent back by NASA's Curiosity rover stunned scientists and space enthusiasts around the globe. The image appeared to show a spoon-shaped object floating in midair, creating an entirely bizarre scene. What's particularly odd is that this spoon not only appeared in the photo, but also cast a shadow on the Martian surface, suggesting it was suspended at a considerable height. This phenomenon seemed to defy known laws of physics, and the photo quickly went viral, sparking widespread fascination. Many people couldn't help but wonder, was this a sign of alien activity or simply an unexplained natural occurrence on Mars? In response to the growing debate, NASA officials stepped forward to explain that the object was most likely just a natural rock formation, weathered by Martian winds over millions of years. Another possibility is that it's a ventifact, a wind-carved rock with unusual geometric features, such as 3 distinct edges and a flat surface, which can create illusions under certain lighting and angles. As for whether the object was truly floating, that remains an unanswered question. NASA stated that further detailed analysis would be needed before drawing any firm conclusions. This is not the first time that images from Mars have stirred the imagination due to the appearance of strange objects. Past rover photos have featured formations that resembled salamanders, pyramids, animal bones, and even what some believed were signs of alien presence. However, scientists have always approached such phenomena with caution, emphasizing that these sightings are often the result of light, perspective, and geological formations, rather than anything supernatural or otherworldly. Even though modern technology allows us to explore distant planets more thoroughly than ever before, human understanding of the cosmos is still limited. Every strange object or unusual landscape captured by Mars exploration missions offers us a chance to expand our imagination and further explore the mysteries of the universe. Unsolved historical mysteries that baffle scientists and archaeologists. The untouchable curse of Genghis Khan's tomb. For nearly 800 years, the tomb of Genghis Khan, the legendary Great Khan of the Mongols, has remained one of the greatest mysteries in world history, protected by a curse that has kept it untouched and undiscovered. The legend of this curse has been passed down from generation to generation, deterring countless archaeologists and explorers from venturing near what is believed to be the most secretive burial site in the world. Genghis Khan was not only the founder of the largest empire in history, but also a symbol of power and enigma. The story of his tomb only deepens the fascination and curiosity that surrounds his legacy. In 2002, an American archaeological team made a shocking announcement. They claimed to have found the mysterious tomb of Genghis Khan. The team conducted studies and surveys in an extremely remote area hinted at by ancient legends and historical records, a place that had never been extensively excavated. As the team withdrew from the site, they discovered a wall stretching nearly 2 miles surrounding what was believed to be the tomb. To their horror, the wall suddenly released a swarm of venomous snakes, forming a deadly natural barrier that no one could easily cross. This phenomenon seemed far from coincidental. It was perceived as a clear warning that the Great Khan's tomb was fiercely protected, allowing no intrusion. According to legend, before his death in 1227, Genghis Khan issued an absolute decree forbidding anyone from revealing the location of his final resting place. This was meant to prevent enemies and grave robbers from desecrating his tomb. The order was strictly enforced by loyal soldiers and the local community, making any attempt to locate the tomb a perilous and daunting journey. Some stories claim that the entire burial guard was executed to protect the secret, sealing the tomb's location as an untouchable vow. The curse and the deadly serpent barrier are believed to be part of a mystical defense system, not only deterring physical intrusion, but also conveying a spiritual message that the Great Khan's sanctity must be preserved at all costs, even human lives. Researchers believe that generations of Mongolians have used natural elements such as venomous snakes, treacherous terrain, and oral secrecy to keep the tomb safe through the centuries. This may explain why, after nearly 8 centuries and countless expeditions from around the globe, the true location of Genghis Khan's tomb remains unconfirmed. A flood of rumors, theories, and thrilling tales, including accounts of vanished expeditions and strange phenomena near the alleged burial site, continue to captivate both the public and the scientific community. Moreover, the legend of the curse adds a mysterious aura to Genghis Khan's legacy, transforming him from a mere historical figure into a mythical symbol tied to the unexplained wonders of the world. Many believe that concealing the tomb not only protects his remains, but also preserves the secrets of his power, wisdom, and the culture of a once mighty empire. The mystery of the curse surrounding Genghis Khan's tomb raises pressing questions for modern archaeologists and scholars. Does a biological or supernatural defense system really exist, as the legends suggest? Or is it merely a blend of folklore and unexplained natural events? And could the ancient Mongolian protective methods truly endure and remain effective over so many centuries? Whatever the truth may be, the enigma of Genghis Khan's tomb and the curse that surrounds it continues to captivate the hearts of adventurers, historians, and explorers alike. Each new expedition uncovers more thrilling tales and fresh challenges, fueling the world's endless curiosity and anticipation for the day the final secret is unveiled. Since ancient times, royal tombs have symbolized not only places of eternal rest, but also the power and permanence of rulers. Genghis Khan's tomb, however, holds far more than immense historical value. It also carries a profound warning about honoring the dead and the mystique of legendary power. Until the mystery is one day unraveled, the curse will remain a burning flame in the minds of all who are drawn to the wonders and legends of humanity. The mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit: aliens, parallel worlds, or a bloody truth? On an unclear day in the 12th century, in the quiet countryside of Suffolk, England, a strange event occurred that not only bewildered the villagers of the time, but has continued to spark countless theories ever since. 2 children, a boy and a girl, with unusually green skin and completely unfamiliar clothing, were found near a wolf pit in the village of Woolpit, right during the harvest season. According to historian William of Newburgh, neither child spoke any language that the locals could understand. No one knew where they had come from. They had no parents with them, and their behavior was both strange and pitiful. Even more puzzling was that they refused all food offered to them for several days, until someone tried giving them raw beans. Strangely, only upon seeing the beans did the children show hunger and begin to eat eagerly, as if that were the only food they had ever known. Over time, as the children received care, the girl began to eat other foods like bread and vegetables. The boy, however, was weaker and sadly passed away not long afterward. The girl survived, was baptized, and eventually given the name Agnes. As time went on, the green tint in her skin faded, and she gradually learned to speak English. When she was old enough to express herself, Agnes shared a haunting story. She and her brother came from a land where there was no sunlight, only a dim, greenish twilight that bathed the entire landscape. She called this place St. Martin, a name that no one had ever heard before, but one that led many to speculate it could be a parallel world, or at least a place completely separated from the rest of England. From that point on, numerous theories emerged. Some believed that the wolf pit where the children were found was actually a secret gateway to another dimension, a parallel universe coexisting with ours but hidden behind physical boundaries that humans cannot yet cross. Others speculated that the children were beings from another planet who had somehow traveled or been trapped on Earth through some unknown form of teleportation far beyond modern science. However, amidst the supernatural and fantastical theories, a modern scholar named Paul Harris offered a different perspective, more grounded but no less tragic. According to Harris, around the year 1173, during the reign of King Henry II, England was going through a time of great upheaval. The king had ordered the mass persecution and execution of immigrants from the Netherlands, leading to bloody clashes and the destruction of several small villages. Harris believes the children may have come from a village called Fornham St. Martin, located just a few miles from Woolpit. After their village was attacked and their parents killed, the children likely wandered into the Thetford forest, surviving on whatever they could find. Living deep in the woods, malnourished and exposed to harsh conditions, they may have developed severe anemia, a condition that can cause the skin to appear pale or even greenish in tone. While hiding or attempting to escape, the children could have stumbled into an ancient flint mine, an underground system dating back more than 4,000 years to the Stone Age. It was likely through this system of tunnels that they unknowingly emerged near the Wolf Pit in Woolpit, where the villagers first found them. Whether viewed as a wartime tragedy or a mythical legend, what keeps the story alive to this day is the mystery it leaves behind. How can the change in their skin color be explained over just a few years? Did the strange green light Agnes described truly exist? Or was it merely the blurred memory of a child who had spent her early years underground, never having seen the sun? Whatever the truth may be, the mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit remains one of the most unusual tales in English history, a question without an answer, a door that has never been fully opened. Lady Be Good, the missing plane, found after 17 years and a desperate journey across the deadly desert. On April 4, 1943, during its first bombing mission targeting Naples, Italy, a B-24D heavy bomber named Lady Be Good took off from Salich Field Air Base in Libya. It was not only the aircraft's first combat flight, but also the first mission for its entire 9-man crew, young men full of energy and determination, unaware that this would be a flight with no return. As other planes in the squadron gradually made their way back to base after the mission, Lady Be Good vanished without a trace. There was no distress signal, no final message, and no wreckage found. Everyone assumed the aircraft had crashed into the Mediterranean Sea. A large-scale search was launched, but all efforts failed. The plane seemed to have disappeared into the night sky without leaving a single clue. As time passed, the disappearance of Lady Be Good faded into obscurity, remembered only in military reports stamped unexplained. Then in 1958, exactly 15 years after the plane vanished, a British oil exploration team, while conducting aerial photography, accidentally discovered the wreckage of an aircraft in the remote Libyan desert, hundreds of miles from the sea. When a ground team reached the site, they confirmed it was Lady Be Good. Though broken apart and worn by time, most of the aircraft remained surprisingly intact, preserved by the desert's dry, scorching climate. Even more astonishingly, some equipment in the cockpit, such as the radio and compass, still functioned, as if the plane had landed only days earlier. But what shocked the team most was not the state of the aircraft. It was the complete absence of the crew. Not a single body was found near the wreckage. No signs indicated that the crew had died at the crash site. The mystery only deepened. It wasn't until 1960, 2 years after the initial discovery, that another survey provided answers. Scattered across the desert, more than 80 miles from the crash site, the remains of 8 of the 9 crew members were found. Alongside their skeletal remains were personal items: pilot goggles, watch straps, shoes, and most importantly, a handwritten diary miraculously preserved, belonging to co-pilot Robert Toner. The diary became the final piece in reconstructing the heartbreaking tale of their desperate struggle to survive in the deadliest of places. According to Toner's notes, after a navigational error, the crew believed they were flying over the Mediterranean when in reality, they had overshot their base and flown deep into the African interior. When their fuel ran out, they bailed out of the aircraft, unaware that they were parachuting into the Libyan desert, just a few hours' flight from home, but in a place devoid of water, food, or any signs of life. Toner documented each day, each step the group took. The 8 surviving members initially set off together, heading north in hopes of finding civilization. They managed to travel over 85 miles in extreme heat, with no water and only a small emergency ration of food. Gradually, their bodies gave out. 5 men collapsed and perished. The remaining 3 pushed on, but ultimately they too were overcome by the harsh elements. One man, machine gunner Vernon L. Moore, was never found. His fate remains a mystery to this day. Their harrowing journey is more than the story of a missing plane. It is a profound tragedy of navigational error, of human endurance in the face of death, and of the cruel silence of nature. The incorruptible body of Master Huineng, a historical miracle from the Tang dynasty. Master Huineng, the most revered Zen master in the history of Chinese Buddhism during the Tang dynasty, is remembered not only for his profound teachings and path to enlightenment, but also for a mysterious and awe-inspiring phenomenon, his incorruptible body. This is one of the rarest and most debated miracles, demonstrating the enduring preservation of a spiritual master's body for over a millennium, despite the upheavals of history and the ravages of nature and man. Huineng is regarded as the first flesh-bodied bodhisattva in Chinese history, a revered monk whose physical body did not decompose after his passing. Today, his body is enshrined and venerated at Nanhua Temple in Shaoguan, Guangdong Province, drawing millions of pilgrims and curious observers alike, those who seek both Buddhist wisdom and explanations for the unexplained. The incorruptible body of Huineng is not only a relic of the past, but a living testimony to faith and spiritual wonder. However, even such a miracle was not immune to the turbulence of modern history. In the 20th century, during China's Cultural Revolution, this sacred body faced its greatest threat. At that time, movements aimed at eradicating superstition and dismantling traditional values deemed counter-revolutionary swept across the nation. Religious monuments, sacred sites, and even holy relics were not spared. The Red Guards, zealous youth assigned to purge society of what they considered witchcraft and superstition, targeted symbols of spiritual devotion. In this hostile atmosphere, Master Huineng's incorruptible body became a focus of suspicion and destruction. One group of Red Guards, believing the preserved body to be nothing more than myth or fabrication, struck his chest with sledgehammers to expose the deception. But what they witnessed stunned them beyond imagination. The master's body remained astonishingly intact. No signs of decay, no deep internal damage, save for a small dent where the hammer struck. Remarkably, his internal organs and tissues had remained preserved, as though time itself had stood still within his flesh and bones. The sight overwhelmed those present, leading many to fall to their knees in reverence, offering deep respect and awe to the great master. That moment became a powerful testament to the enduring human faith in spiritual strength and the mystery of Buddhism, shaking even the most hardened skeptics' beliefs. The story of Master Huineng's incorruptible body is not just a mysterious occurrence, it raises profound questions for both science and spirituality. How can a human body remain preserved for nearly 1,000 years? Were there special environmental conditions at play? Or were there spiritual practices involved that modern science has yet to understand? This phenomenon has attracted the attention of researchers and scholars from around the world. Beyond scientific intrigue, the incorruptibility of Huineng's body also highlights the rich cultural and historical values of the Tang dynasty. Master Huineng was not only a religious figure, but also a symbol of enlightenment, of the Buddhist path to liberation from suffering and ignorance. The preservation of his body through countless historical trials offers humanity a rare glimpse into the intersection of faith, tradition, and science. Moreover, Huineng's incorrupt body remains a living testament to the power of belief and spiritual integrity. Halaik, the city swallowed by the sea in a single night, and the mystery of the Greek Atlantis. When people think of civilizations buried by natural disasters, Pompeii often comes to mind. Buried under volcanic ash, or Atlantis, the legendary city said to have sunk beneath the ocean waves. But few know that before the catastrophe of Pompeii and shrouded in the mist of the Atlantis myth, there was a real ancient Greek city that vanished overnight, Halaiki. As the powerful capital of the Achaean League, Halaiki was once a major religious, cultural, and economic center, especially renowned for its grand temple dedicated to Poseidon, god of the sea. Ironically, it was this very devotion that some believe led to the city's downfall, swallowed forever by the earth and sea, possibly by the very god they worshipped. According to the ancient Greek writer Pausanias and records dating back to the 4th century BCE, one winter night in 373 BCE, a massive earthquake struck, destroying the city's foundations. Immediately afterward, a devastating tsunami surged in from the Gulf of Corinth, wiping out everything that remained. In just a few short hours, the entire city, its temples, homes, and people, was dragged to the bottom of the sea. By morning, the once thriving city had become a calm, lifeless expanse of water. The only survivors were travelers who had been away from the city that night. To them, Helike was not just a terrifying memory, but a stark warning from both nature and the gods. For centuries after, Helike faded into legend. No ruins were found, no accurate maps existed, and little evidence remained to prove it was ever a part of ancient Greece. Some medieval scholars even suggested that Helike was the inspiration for Plato's Atlantis, a city swallowed by the sea, lost due to its pride and sins. It wasn't until the 19th century that explorers and archaeologists began searching for Helike. Despite their efforts, all attempts ended in failure, and many came to believe that the city had been lost to the sea forever, surviving only in faint descriptions in ancient texts. But history has its own way of resurfacing. In 1861, while building a railroad near the area of Aegio, workers discovered several ancient coins bearing the image of Poseidon's head. These coins, dating back to Helike's golden age, provided the first concrete clue that the city was more than just a myth. Still, it would take more than a century before the mystery truly began to unravel. In 2001, Greek archaeologists Dora Katsanopoulou and Stephen Soter finally identified the exact location of the lost city. Their geological and archaeological surveys stunned the scientific community. They found that Helike lay buried beneath layers of mud and gravel in a sunken area near the coast, just a few miles from the present-day Gulf of Corinth. Thick sediment layers confirmed a major earthquake had occurred, followed by land subsidence and a tsunami, matching Pausanias's account from over 2,000 years ago. The team also uncovered remains of houses, roads, and ancient structures, preserved almost intact beneath the ground, as if frozen in the moment they were buried. Helike is more than just an archaeological site. It's a portal to an age of myths, where people lived with unwavering belief in their gods, an era when prosperity and ruin were separated by only a single night. The destruction of Helike wasn't just a geological event. It reflected the deep connection between nature and the spiritual beliefs of ancient people. Rongorongo, the forgotten language of Easter Island and an unsolved mystery. In the heart of the Pacific Ocean, hidden in isolation and enigma, Easter Island is not only famous for its silent, colossal moai statues, but also for harboring one of humanity's greatest linguistic mysteries, the Rongorongo script. Written in a strange system of hieroglyph-like symbols, Rongorongo is the only known written language discovered on a small, remote island that has no clear connection to any other writing system in the world. What's astonishing is that Rongorongo mysteriously emerged in the 18th century, at a time when most neighboring islands had yet to develop any form of writing. An oral tradition and symbolic communication still dominated local cultures. No one truly knows the exact origin of Rongorongo. It was never mentioned in any European records before Western explorers first made contact with Easter Island in 1722. Yet just a few generations later, as Christian missionaries and European colonizers imposed strict religious and educational systems, Rongorongo suddenly vanished from the lives of the indigenous people, as if it had never existed. The reason? The script was believed to be closely tied to the ancient religious rituals of the Rapa Nui, the island's original inhabitants. With its intricate carvings of human figures, animals, and geometric shapes etched into wooden tablets, Europeans at the time considered Rongorongo the product of a pagan cult that needed to be eradicated. Under pressure from the Catholic Church, most of those who still knew how to read Rongorongo were forced to abandon their ancestral language, leading to its rapid and near-total extinction. What makes Rongorongo truly remarkable is not just the mystery of its disappearance, but also the unique way it was written. Unlike typical scrolls or stone inscriptions, Rongorongo texts were carved onto long wooden tablets in a style known as reverse boustrophedon, a method where the first line is read from left to right, the next from right to left, and so on. To follow the sequence correctly, the reader must rotate the tablet vertically, making the content even more difficult to decipher. To this day, no Rongorongo inscription has been fully understood. Linguists from around the world have spent decades analyzing the symbols, counting frequencies, comparing signs to local rituals, names, and folktales, yet every decoding attempt ends in the same invisible wall of silence. One of the biggest obstacles to deciphering Rongorongo is the complete absence of surviving readers. There are no dictionaries, no bilingual translations, no oral traditions passed down. Everything we know today comes from just 26 surviving wooden tablets, most of which are scattered across museums in London, Santiago, Berlin, and Hawaii. Only a few of these are intact. The rest have been badly damaged by termites, fire, or breakage. At one point, it was theorized that rongorongo was not a true writing system, but merely a set of ceremonial symbols. However, this theory has been challenged by examples that show clear linguistic structures, word repetition, fixed symbol groups, and logical progression across sections. Unfortunately, rongorongo emerged too late in the timeline of global writing development and was extinguished too quickly by colonial and religious influence. It left behind too few clues to allow for comprehensive analysis. If the theory is true that the Rapa Nui independently invented this writing system, they would join a very rare class of civilizations in human history, like the Sumerians, Egyptians, Chinese, and Maya, who developed written language entirely on their own. But if rongorongo was not indigenous in origin, then who brought it here, and why did it appear in only one place before vanishing without a trace? Today, rongorongo is not just a mysterious set of symbols. It stands as a symbol of intellect, belief, and cultural loss. It reminds us that not every mystery of humankind can be solved by modern science or technology. Sometimes, what is lost with memory remains only as silent carvings on wood, a whisper from the past that may never be heard again. And rongorongo is exactly that whisper, a mystery not written to be understood, but to remind us of what once existed and has been forgotten. Bella in the Wych Elm, a chilling mystery hidden in the heart of England for over 75 years. One spring afternoon in 1943, deep in the quiet woods of Hagley in Worcestershire, England, four boys, Bob Farmer, Tommy Willits, Robert Hart, and Fred Payne, went searching for bird nests in a dead wych elm tree on the abandoned grounds of the old Cobham estate. None of them could have imagined that their innocent childhood adventure would accidentally uncover one of the most disturbing and enduring mysteries in British criminal history. As he climbed the rotting tree, Bob Farmer noticed something round protruding from the hollow trunk. Curious, he poked it with a stick, only to discover a human skull, with some strands of hair still attached and teeth mostly intact. Horrified, the boys swore to keep the discovery a secret, but like all terrifying secrets, it couldn't stay buried for long. Tommy Willits, unable to bear the pressure, eventually confessed to his father, and not long after, the local police launched an investigation. They excavated the entire tree and found the decomposed remains of a woman. Her skull, torso, and lower limbs were still inside the hollow trunk, while one of her hands had been detached and was discovered some distance away. On her other hand, a gold wedding ring remained, a rare clue suggesting the woman may have been a wife, possibly a mother, and certainly someone who had once lived a normal life before meeting a terrible end. Forensic analysis determined that the woman was about 35 years old, had given birth at least once, and had likely died around a year prior to the discovery. The most chilling conclusion was that she had not been placed in the tree post-mortem. Instead, she may have still been alive, forced into the tight, hollow trunk where she died alone, suffocating in darkness and despair. Investigators also found a piece of taffeta fabric in her mouth, possibly used to gag her or hasten her death by suffocation. That's when the real mystery began. No missing person reports matched her description. No identification, no witnesses, no name, just a skeleton and a storm of unanswered questions. Then in 1944, as the case seemed to be fading from public memory, a chilling message began appearing as graffiti on walls across Birmingham. Who put Bella in the wych elm? The phrase showed up repeatedly in various locations, a haunting reminder that the victim had a name, Bella. Whether it was her real name or a nickname invented by her killer remains unknown. Public interest surged again, and the case became forever known as Bella in the wych elm. From there, the theories grew stranger and darker. Some believed Bella was a German spy executed during World War II after being exposed as a Nazi agent. Others suggested she was the victim of an ancient occult ritual, that she had been sacrificed in a pagan ceremony, sealed in a tree as part of a spiritual binding to prevent her soul from returning to the living world. Conspiracy theories ranged from serial killers and human trafficking rings to covert operations involving secret organizations. None of these theories have ever been definitively proven or completely ruled out. More than 75 years have passed since that day in the woods. Though the police long ago closed the case, the name Bella continues to live on in the minds of those fascinated by unsolved crimes. She is no longer just a victim. She has become a symbol of the forgotten, the nameless women who vanish from history, remembered only by names given to them by strangers. People say the most terrifying thing is to die without anyone knowing who you are. And Bella is the clearest example of that fear come to life. The Bella in the Wych Elm case is not just a ghost story. It's a solemn reminder of how time can erase even the existence of a human being in near complete silence. Until the question, who put Bella in the Wych Elm, is finally answered, this mystery will continue to haunt not only England, but also anyone brave enough to seek the truth behind it. The fall of the Minoan Empire. When volcanoes and mythology intersect. Over 3,500 years ago, a magnificent Bronze Age civilization flourished on the island of Crete, the Minoan Empire, one of the earliest and most advanced civilizations in ancient Europe. The Minoans were famous not only for their splendid palaces like the Palace of Knossos, but also for the fascinating stories of King Minos, the mysterious labyrinth, and the Minotaur monster in Greek mythology. However powerful and prosperous it seemed, this empire was not immune to the fate that befell many ancient civilizations. A sudden and mysterious disappearance. The cause of the Minoan collapse remains a major question that archaeologists and historians have yet to fully decode. Among the leading theories is the catastrophic earthquake coupled with the volcanic eruption of Thera, now Santorini, one of the largest natural disasters in ancient history. Ash and lava from the Thera eruption blanketed a vast area, devastating crops, destroying villages, and severely disrupting Crete's ecosystem. The accompanying earthquakes and tsunamis wiped out many lives, triggering an unprecedented crisis in Minoan history. Surprisingly, archaeological evidence from Linear B clay tablets, an already deciphered writing system, shows that the Minoan civilization survived and continued functioning for about 50 years after the Thera eruption. This suggests that the collapse was not instantaneous, but rather a gradual process during which they struggled to recover but ultimately could not overcome mounting difficulties. Beyond natural causes, many scholars hypothesize that the decline of the Minoans may have been linked to external invasions. The Mycenaean Greeks from the mainland are believed to have exploited Minoan weakness to attack and take control of Crete. Cultural and linguistic traces at archaeological sites indicate a gradual integration of the two civilizations, marking a new era dominated by Mycenaean influences. This transition ultimately erased the distinct identity of the Minoan Empire. Additionally, climate change, economic hardship, and social unrest are considered contributing factors that weakened this once glorious empire. Successive earthquakes, prolonged droughts, and resource shortages disrupted the food supply system, paving the way for rebellions and internal instability. What remains strange and fascinating is that many aspects of Minoan life, beliefs, and language are still shrouded in mystery. The vibrant frescoes, grand temples, and exquisite artifacts cannot fully explain the disappearance of a civilization that achieved extraordinary feats in art and architecture. The fall of the Minoans is not just the loss of a civilization, but also a profound reminder of human fragility in the face of nature and unpredictable historical events. To this day, archaeologists continue to excavate and study remnants on Crete and around Santorini, hoping to uncover new clues to illuminate the story of the Minoan Empire's fall, one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, where legend and history intertwine, opening a chapter that is both enchanting and tragic for humanity. Who really was Robin Hood? The quest for the legendary forest outlaw between truth and myth. Robin Hood, the name that has become legendary as a symbol of justice, of robbing from the rich to give to the poor, a resilient forest knight standing against oppression and injustice. Yet behind that shimmering veil of legend lies a complicated and challenging story that historians are still diligently trying to uncover. In reality, Robin Hood may never have been a single individual. Instead, he might be a blend of multiple people and stories woven over time, making the task of identifying the original Robin Hood nearly impossible. Among the surviving historical records, the list of candidates considered as Robin Hood is quite diverse. Some of the most frequently mentioned names include Robert Hood, believed to have fled to Yorkshire, Habahad, another name found in old documents, and a Robert Hood from the Wakefield area. The main issue is that Robin Hood was not just a personal name, but also a generic term symbolizing those living outside the law. Outlaws like William Lefevre, who was later recorded in court documents under the name Robehad. The complexity of pinning down the real Robin Hood stems from many factors, most notably the blending of history and legend. Over the centuries, stories of Robin Hood were passed down orally, but also recorded in poetry, plays, and later films and television, each adding new details and characters such as Prince John or Richard the Lionheart, the true English hero in history, who in legend became part of Robin Hood's tale. This made the image of Robin Hood increasingly vague and multi-dimensional. One could say Robin Hood is more a cultural symbol than a clear historical figure. He represents resistance against oppression and injustice in feudal society and the courage of common people rising up against tyranny. This explains why the Robin Hood story endures in the hearts of many generations and continues to be retold in various forms. However, for historians, tracing the real footprints of Robin Hood is not just about solving a fairy tale, but a way to better understand medieval English society, its social conflicts and underground struggles beneath the official historical narrative. Court records and archival documents about criminal cases from that era reveal a fuller picture of outlaws' lives, many of whom were called Robin Hood as a shared nickname, reflecting the image of rebels and disobedient figures. Additionally, the widespread popularity of the Robin Hood legend is tied to political and social factors. The story of a hero who steals from the rich to give to the poor created a symbolic model of resistance, especially during times of social unrest or harsh feudal rule. The image of Robin Hood was used to convey messages about social justice and the unity of the people against oppression. From scarce historical evidence and legends embroidered over time, Robin Hood stands as an immortal symbol, not just a story of robbing the rich to aid the poor, but a symbol of people's power and the longing for freedom. He may not have existed as a single person, but the name and story of Robin Hood have become an inseparable part of English culture as well as world culture. Continuing to search and study Robin Hood is not only about tracing the origins of a legend, but also about exploring the multifaceted history of humanity, where truth and myth blend into a vivid and colorful tapestry. Whoever Robin Hood truly was, he remains a hero in the hearts of those who believe in justice, equality, and the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Thousands of Carnac standing stones, Merlin's Legion, or an earthquake prediction tool. Stretching over 7.5 miles along the coast of Brittany in northeastern France, the Carnac standing stones stand out as a mysterious wonder, captivating curiosity and admiration through thousands of years of human history. With more than 3,000 carefully arranged megalithic stones laid out in perfect long rows, Carnac is not only a gigantic stone architectural complex, but also one of the oldest and most enigmatic ancient sites in the world, puzzling scientists, archaeologists, and history enthusiasts alike. Unlike England's Stonehenge, famous for its characteristic circular stone arrangements, Carnac impresses with its massive scale and linear layout spanning across various lands. The standing stones vary in size and shape, most made from granite transported from quarries tens of miles away. The effort to move and erect thousands of these stones using Neolithic technology raises many questions. Who built this? What techniques did they use? And most importantly, what was the true purpose of these rows of stones? According to Brittany folklore, the Carnac stones were not merely prehistoric human handiwork, but the result of mystical magic. The story goes that they were once a Roman legion turned to stone by the legendary wizard Merlin, famous in Arthurian legend, as punishment for some sin. The image of soldiers petrified into eternal stone columns evokes a vivid, colorful tale wrapped in local beliefs and superstitions spanning centuries. Though this story cannot be scientifically proven, it adds to the allure and mystery surrounding Carnac. On the scientific front, after more than 30 years of relentless research, a new hypothesis has emerged that makes many reconsider the function of this site. Some archaeologists and geologists believe these stones are not simply religious symbols or memorial monuments, but might have been designed as an ancient earthquake prediction tool. According to this theory, the Carnac stones could respond to subtle underground tremors, thus warning of significant seismic activity ahead, helping Neolithic inhabitants prepare for natural disasters. The blend of mystical legend and modern scientific hypotheses creates an irresistible aura of mystery around Karnak. Despite multiple excavations and studies, the site remains only partially decoded, especially regarding the identity and origins of its builders. Who were they? Why did they invest so much time and effort to erect these colossal rows of stones? The true purpose of the site remains an open question, troubling archaeologists. Archaeological evidence in the surrounding area indicates that the builders of Karnak belonged to the Neolithic period, around 7,000 years ago. This was a time when humans began developing agriculture and forming stable settlements. The construction of such massive stone rows demonstrates a highly organized society with complex building and stone transporting techniques far surpassing many contemporary civilizations. This proves that ancient people in Brittany possessed not only advanced engineering knowledge, but also profound understanding of nature and the cosmos. Moreover, Karnak is considered a special archaeological site potentially connected to astronomical phenomena. Some researchers believe the stones were aligned with the rising and setting positions of the sun, moon, or significant constellations, essentially forming a giant megalithic astronomical calendar that helped ancient people mark seasons and important yearly events. However, these hypotheses still require more convincing evidence. In fact, after thousands of years, the Karnak stones still stand firm, witnessing countless changes of history and nature. They are not only a testament to the extraordinary intelligence and creativity of our ancestors, but also an endless source of inspiration for modern researchers and generations of history and mystery lovers. Dear friends, throughout history, humanity has witnessed countless mysterious phenomena that remain unexplained. But in reality, everything has a reason. It's just that we haven't yet developed the ability to find the answers. Just like the mysteries mentioned above, for example. Among them are events considered super mysterious, where it took humans thousands of years to finally uncover the truth. What do you think about these mysteries? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to give our channel a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on more fascinating discoveries. For now, thanks for watching and see you next time.